Yeah, one of my three monitors died finally. It's like an older HD like 1080, and it just finally crapped the bed. And I'm like, well, I have two, but I've gotten really spoiled used to using three for all the different tabs and stuff. So now I'm trying to readjust everything. So if something comes up looking weird, don't be afraid to tell me and be like, hey, that looks fucked up or whatever, you know. But right now it should just be showing the map, I believe. Show like a little map and it's been spinning around. Like some asshole spinning the map back and forth. So I know Jen said she was going to be a little bit late, uh, but I'll give you guys a couple extra bonus minutes if you want to decide if you wanted to do anything kind of in town. The scene, as I remember it, and as I tried to watch it back in like little bits and pieces, clipping through the YouTube video earlier today, um, is that you guys are at the Black Sail Tavern, and you had agreed to work with a particularly fiendish looking fellow that was residing there for the moment. He wanted you to retrieve a child from the confines of one Dirk Hale's tower, a guard for the Harmonium, one of the higher ups in the Harmonium faction in Sigil. Oh, section's actually. Hey, Jen. Cool.
Hey,
So we actually have a couple
hey
minutes
guys.
to do downtime. Yeah, so I was just telling these guys we got a few minutes if you want to do some downtime stuff. I'm probably only going to try to run like one, maybe two chapters of the actual adventure tonight and give you guys a lot of time to explore the city because there's a lot to it. Uh, so hoping to be done by 9 still. So it's probably about 2 hours worth of actual play, if I had to guess.
Sorry I was a little late today.
No, that's okay. No
Sorry,
worries.
no problem.
I didn't even throw the link up until about 10 minutes ago, I think.
Oh, alright, cool.
And now that everyone's here, Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, Happy New
Oh
Year.
yes, Happy New Year.
You guys can't tell, but I'm cheersing you.
I'll cheers my toast to you. It's a toast to you.
Nice.
Marcel.
So yeah, you guys are you're just kind of at the tavern. You spent the night. You guys all got a chance to do a long rest, so if you didn't, probably reset your character sheets and stuff.
Word.
At this point, you guys are, I believe, what, level 12? All of you should be level 12? Unless I'm
I think
mistaken.
10.
Yeah, I'm only level
Yeah,
10
level
as well.
10.
Really?
But we can be level 11 if you want.
Let's call your last adventure. If I didn't say it, we'll give you another level too. Actually,
Sick.
you guys can
Cool.
totally kind of go through and pick and choose shit. Because like I said,
Very excited. Let's see what we got.
you guys are gonna be in this city for who knows how long. Pretty much until you find your way home. It seems like.
Ooh, one more level until Indomitable. Nice.
Now I gotta decide if I want to do a. Oh, I think I did a level of Bard last time. I probably should do a level of Sorcerer.
I'm sure that there's in the future, if people finally ever actually see this on YouTube, like some lonely kid like 20 years from now is looking up D&D because it's a weird niche hobby again, and he sees this video, he's gonna be like trying to figure out what the hell we were trying to do during this campaign.
All over the place and time.
I have a relentless rage now, so if I drop to 0 hit points, I actually drop to 1 on a DC 10 con saving throw.
Nice.
Okay, so it's like a free avoiding death.
So do I have the option of taking a feat anytime that there's an ability score improvement?
Yeah, we can use feats. Like I said, this is fast and loose D&D. That's what I should have called the channel. It's about how much that I actually like stick to the 100% rules it's written. I'm like, yeah, sure. It's sort of like whose line is it anyway of D&D.
I think it was allowing me a feat or a level, or a raising of a score every 4 levels.
Yeah. Yeah, up to it's 4, 8, 12, 16, 19 for ability score and feats.
Oh boy, Weapon Master.
I'm gonna hide you guys behind my map of the City of Doors here, my own personal map that's got all my nifty info on it.
One thing I definitely wanted to do while we were wandering around was still try to like find some sort of gem or amulet to raise my armor class.
Right, and you guys had found a gem worker's shop, I believe. And yeah, you can go to that, and it would definitely be open. Um, let's see. Fish out my dice. Um, you are able to find only a small gem of the sort you are talking. It is an opal, like a fire opal, and it gives you a +1 to your armor class as long as it is on your person. So like tucked away in a pocket somewheres. The seller wants 1,000 gold pieces for it.
I'll pass on that for now.
Okay.
I'll buy it for you.
That's,
Yeah,
that's like
that's
pocket
cheap.
change. That's
Yeah,
huge.
for real.
Oh, okay, fair enough. If we're if it can come out of the main
We're
stuff,
loaded.
main stash.
Whatever.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys.
I'll put gold coins in your soup if you want.
I forgot we had all those gems and stuff.
I was gonna say we have a bunch of actual cash too. It's fine.
Yeah.
And this tracks really well for me story wise because like 2.5, 3 weeks ago in your guys' mind you were broke pretty much. Like you started off as like not having, maybe you had 10 gold or something. Like now you're rolling it. You got like 100 grand between like the 4 of you.
Yeah, in either timeline too, which is funny.
Yeah. Um. So.
Zach, is this also a place where they'd have like amulets and things, or is it just
Oh
strictly
sure,
gems?
it's like a jeweler's shop. Like picture like a
Mhm.
Zales, except for much gaudier probably. I feel
Because
like
I've been
all
looking for an
fantasy
amulet
jewelry
of
is really
health, and I
gaudy.
don't know if they'd have that here or not.
What are you looking for?
An amulet of health?
Let's see.
It's like a constitution modifier.
Beyond here. Search everything. Hopefully my A key doesn't stick. My daughter spilled soda on it the other day.
Yeah, change your con score to 19.
Yep, got it. And let's see. I wish that they had a separate like DM info section on some of this stuff on D&D Beyond. I think that'd be really cool. Like
Yeah.
if I click on it as the DM, it could have like, shit come up where you wouldn't see it if you just clicked on it as a player in the campaign
Yeah.
or something.
That would be incredible.
That would be really cool. Just saying D&D Beyond if you're watching. Right. Doesn't give an actual price with it. Sigil has everything available, but things tend to be a bit pricey. For this particular piece of equipment, it's rather crudely, it seems. And if you discuss this with Reggie at all, he would tell you that it would probably not work as well as the ones you had seen before in the streets of like Baldur's Gate for
Mm-hmm.
sale at the high end shops there. So you think that this one would only give you a Constitution score of 18.
Oh, what's the price on that bad boy?
He wants 250 gold for it.
Yeah, I'll take it, and I'll just hunt for another one if I find a better one.
You know, you're looking for the purple color amulet, and this one's only the green color amulet. That's all you can find in this particular shop for this one.
I okay, so I look it over and I kind of grimace a little bit and I say 200.
Okay. I believe Maggie had given either you or Tohan the abacus as well,
I think they gave it
which
to
Oh, that's
Vanidia.
right. I do have the abacus.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe that gives you advantage on dealing with this. So just roll me a persuasion check with advantage. DC is just we'll say 12.
12.
Yeah.
Sorry, persuasion with advantage.
Yep.
Not that one. That one. 20.
Nice.
Dirty 20.
All right. So he looks at you and he goes, fine, yes. It will do. The gemsmith is wearing like one of those jeweler's loops, but it seems to be just sort of permanently affixed to his eye. Like you can't tell if it's part of the headband that he's wearing or if it's actually just kind of implanted into his eye. It keeps focusing on you quite oddly and sort of scanning the room, and you think that he's trying to detect whether or not anyone of you is stealing anything.
If any of us is, it's Guilfoyle, and he won't find him. So.
Yeah, Guilfoyle stole himself. And he stole Valk.
Tohan's just looking at like some of the gems that look like candy and just thinking about eating them. So
Speaking of which, Maggie's got a spell now that can remove a curse or an ability score decrease, which Tohan had an ability score decrease at one point, right?
yeah, I lost
Yes.
5 to my intelligence at one point.
So I got you.
I don't know if that would work though, because that's not like it wasn't just like an effect. It's just like a thing that happened when you use deck of many things. I don't know.
So what's
Maybe
the spell,
it depends
Dave?
on how the spell's worded.
It says you imbue a creature you touch with positive energy to undo a debilitating effect. You can reduce exhaustion level by 1 and run the following effects on the target, including any reduction to one of the target's ability scores.
Okay. Yeah. So if you want to burn the spell slot, then yes, you can actually. If it's got ritual, you can cast it as a ritual as well.
It does not. So it'll, yeah, and she'll have to do it in the morning, of course, because this is after the level up. She also needs 100 gold pieces worth of diamond dust, which I don't know if we have diamond dust, but sounds like that's something that could be gotten at a jewel shop.
I was gonna say we definitely have diamonds, because I remember we spent like $3,000 on diamonds one time.
Yeah.
And this whole time is soundtracked by some sort of big baller gangster rap because you guys are just buying gold chains and like, potions, literally burning money to do spells.
I get a big gold feather that I bought that I don't know what it
Right.
does, just like sticking out.
All of it looks like
Out of a
It
headband.
looks like a 1992 rap video somehow. I
Mhm.
don't. So yeah, you guys are you were able to acquire these things. Yeah, ultimately your plans, I believe, were to head back toward the Screaming Tower, where this fiendish guy had kind of commissioned you to deliver this odd-shaped disc and recite a poem essentially in front of the gate. Oh, give me one
Yeah,
sec.
we
Give
were
me
wondering if we wanted to do that.
1 second, guys.
I'm not sure if all this like purchasing is happening the evening before or
Alright.
the morning.
Sorry, I was AFK for a second.
No worries. But yeah, by the time I would say like at night, Maggie's definitely like praying for guidance on that because she's freaked out about the idea of anybody making any kind of pledge to the Lady of Pain. So that's kind of her prayer and like focused meditation over the night, and then first thing when they wake up, she'll do her inspiring leader thing, which I think gives them a different amount of hit points now that we're a level up. Check that. 16 temporary hit points.
Ooh.
Is that the actual noise that Tohan makes when he gets to 16 hit points? I hope
Yeah.
so.
It is.
It's perfect.
Damn, these hit points feel temporary. Yeah, and then she'll do her greater restoration on Tohan.
Right, and upon doing the greater restoration, Tohan, your lowered stats are returned. However, when the spell fires and the prayer to Hestia is answered, it seems like maybe some wires got crossed, like a few packets got lost on this TCP/IP, and you are sort of jolted, and you take 1 point of psychic damage, and your metal arm falls off onto the ground. Just clang!
Ah.
Damn.
Can I try reaffixing it to my arm?
Yeah, it goes back on cleanly.
Okay.
It just fell off for that particular moment. Some sort of weird, like I say, cross in the magical stitches or something. So is there
All
anything
right.
else you guys would like to do before you head off to your destination of the Screaming Tower?
With that, Tohan remembers how to read books or read language.
Hey Zach, what was that gem I got called again? Is this something that I'll be able to put into Beyond?
Uh, there may be something on there, but I don't know. Anything that gives you a +1, you can just add a shield for now if you want, probably.
Gotcha.
Or just remember it, and we'll just add one mentally to the roll for tonight, and then we can figure it out after the game.
That's fine.
Yeah, if you just click on the thing, the badge that says armor class, you
Oh yeah, you
can
can manually change
customize
it.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll just do that.
Inamingle, that's the guy's name. I'm over here scrolling through my PDF, going, where the hell is his name?
I'd
Yeah.
also like to show Arianth my feather I got too.
I
Hey.
asked Reggie what he thinks of it.
Nick, remind me what your feather did again.
It was like a random effect, like some kind
Oh
of
shit,
random effect where I
I
throw it.
have
It's
it
like a
saved.
quill.
Hang on.
It was like a quill of something. I thought it was gonna like summon some kind of beast, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it. I think it's like a dart that summons like a Pokemon creature. Dig for my notes here. Oh.
What does when a spell doesn't have a range of self, what does that mean exactly?
When it has a range of self or does not?
Does not.
Possibly that you can't cast it on yourself.
Okay, gotcha.
What's the spell?
Yeah.
Well, basically, it's a new thing I can pick. It's called Twin Spell. It says when you cast a spell that targets only one creature and doesn't have a range of self, you can spend a number of sorcery points equal to the spell's level to target a second creature in range with the same spell.
Yeah, it just means that you can't cast it on like yourself and somebody else using that. Like
Yeah,
doesn't have a range of self is just a fancy way of saying and you're not casting it on yourself.
Cool.
yeah.
I think I'm
But
gonna get that.
that's sweet. So if you cast like lightning bolt, you can like hit one creature and then hit another creature with like a second lightning bolt.
Exactly. And it basically as long as it doesn't have it only targets one creature, it doesn't have a range of self, I can double it. So I could actually use that to double like Banish or Poly.
Sorry, I'm searching for my oh, there it is. All my notes were on my other Google Doc. Shit. Oh, let's find out the web way. Let's see.
I'm gonna join on my computer, so I'm gonna sign off on this.
No, I didn't catch. What was that, Dave saying? What now?
He's got to sign off and sign back on his computer.
Oh, okay. Loop. Loop. Alright, so it is a feather token. What color did we say that it was?
I think you said gold.
Okay. Let's do the 100 here. Alright, so upon inspecting it, Reggie tells you that if you're on a boat or a ship, you can use an action to toss the token up to 10 feet in the air. The token disappears and a giant flapping fan takes its place. The fan floats and creates a wind strong enough to fill the sails of one ship, increasing its speed by 5 miles per hour for 8 hours. You can dismiss the fan as an action. It's kind of cool, so it creates like a strong wind.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, there's a bunch of these feather tokens. Yours is called a feather token fan, like in parentheses.
Ooh, I get a 6th level spell now.
Real quick, guys, if I make I made a different amulet of health in the homebrew items, and I shared it, but I don't know how to add it to my character sheet.
You
It's not
should be able
coming
to,
up.
yeah, you should be able to search it, but I don't know. I might have to add it to the campaign too.
Okay.
Is it inferior amulet of health?
Yeah.
Yeah, just go to inventory, manage inventory.
Uh-huh.
Under filter, type in amulet
Yeah.
of.
Oh, okay.
And scroll right up.
I typed inferior and it's not coming up on mine. But I'll try that.
You might have to just like sign up a character sheet and sign back on too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that might be
You get
it.
more than one tab going.
Yeah. Let me just close them all. Different D&DB tabs.
Huh. So it says I can do level 6 spells, but it's not giving me any options for level 6 spells.
I just still don't see it. There must be a setting I have that doesn't show the homebrew stuff. I don't know.
Well, you can
Weird.
definitely go to browse homebrew. I'm browsing homebrew stuff now.
Yeah, and I found it there. I in manage inventory. I can't get it to come up.
What is it
So
called?
I'm
An inferior amulet of health, you said, right?
yeah.
Zach, you should be able to add it to a sheet for him too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm in there trying to find it. For some reason, my computer's just being kind of slow. Chrome is being slow. Inferior amulet of health. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Let's see. So plink. Add to collection. I bet you that's what it is. I just have to click add to collection.
Jen, you might have to take a 6th level spell for you too.
What do you mean by take a 6 spell?
Like because there like each some spells have like different levels to cast. Like, darkness is level 2 and chaos bolt's level 1, banishment's level 4, that kind of stuff. So you have to like manage your spells and take a 6th level spell.
No, I am managing my spells. I'm looking in to add a new spell, and it's just not giving me any options for level 6 spells to add.
Huh.
It only goes to 5th for some reason.
So you can throw
It gives me the option. It shows that my 5th level and other level spells can be cast at a 6th level spell, and I have one slot to do so, but I just can't find any 6th level spells to
Oh,
add.
that's because you're a 10th level sorcerer, but a first level bard, right?
Yes.
So as far as like if you're looking at the sorcerer table on 5e, you're essentially 10th level, even though your character's 11th level.
correct.
But I understand that, but it's given me the option to use my other spells at a 6th level, just not allowing me to choose any, even though I have
Yeah.
6th level slots.
I'm kind of surprised that it's giving you the option to use them at 6th level, but that's cool. um, yeah,
Yeah, whatever. I'll just say the option is a bonus. Just
yeah,
the 5.
yeah. There must be a reason for it, so that's cool.
Oh, I wish it was quicker on this D&D Beyond. I haven't used it very much in the last couple of months here. Do add equipment, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just created a quick character with 10th level sorcerer. Yeah, it doesn't give the option of known spells.
So it means you gain the spell slots, but you don't gain knowledge of any new spells through your innate sorcery ability, is what it is then. That's what it sounds like, anyway, to me.
Zach, if you can't find a way to do that right now, I could just go in and override the score for now in the builder.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it, because I'm looking through trying to figure out how to do it here. I see the add equipment thing, but when I go to
Mhm.
add it, same thing as you, it wouldn't let me search for
Yeah,
it.
that's weird.
I,
No worries. I'll
I,
just do it this way.
yeah, I'll have to go through and look for it afterwards and do the like add to campaign thing or whatever, because I did that with one of my other campaigns. It seemed to work okay, where I added a homebrew item to it. So maybe I've got to just select it or something.
All good.
All right. All right. So with that, you guys are kind of on your way to this tower here. Headed through the streets from where you are in the far part of the lower ward to the ladies' ward. Again, we'll take a few hours to get there. But Jesh, your guide from the other day, he shows back up at this tavern, and it appears through the interactions that they have that Jesh and your benefactor, Inamingle. Yes. I'm gonna write that down at the very top of the page. Inamingle. All the font on these PDFs is like straight up just old school fucking TypeScript, and it's black and white, and it's just tiny little fucking shit. So it kills my eyes. He shows up and says, "Hey there, Cutters. So you've agreed to the job. Do you have a plan for when you get inside? Remember, this is just a mission to get some information about Durkal's fortress, and she should be able to help you along the way. Zaraga, that is."
I think that's all we were told, right? Just make connection with her, and we'll
Yep.
get instructions from there.
Ah, see, that's a way to live in this city. Wing it. All right, well, on our way then. He begins leading you through various areas of the lower ward. And as you are headed through this portion, you notice that he tends to take you up certain back alleys, and he's got almost like a route that he takes. And you see, like, every once in a while he'll stop and kind of look, and there'll be a large party of like the harmonium guards passing by, and he'll just kind of tell you all to stop in the alley for a second, and then you'll continue on. It's very like, you know, if you question him about it, he would say something like, "It's easier to not be seen than to be seen and questioned about your motives for doing things in the city." He kind of warns you that everyone here they have their fingers in 10 different bowls of soup. I don't know why they're in bowls of soup, but that's the euphemism he uses.
They must be really small bowls because that's pretty hard to spread your fingers out.
Yeah, or
that
square, like small
far.
small square bowls. I don't know.
Yeah.
Korean ferments, just like I'm into it.
Sounds unsanitary.
So yeah, you guys head through the smoky area of the Foundry district, and through Swordhold, both areas that seem to be ripe with like ironworks and armories, smithies, like heavy duty stuff. Like this is like the industrial complex. Like this is the war machine at work for this city. Even though other than the Harmonium Guards, you haven't really seen signs of a military presence. The Harmonium do seem to be sort of effervescent throughout the city. Like it's not like you see them all the time, but like you definitely see them. You do, on the other hand, see various guards of all the other factions that Jesh explained to you. I'm not going to go over all of them. If you guys have a question about any of the factions, we can just kind of go from the book. And you're past several more areas until you reach the ladies' ward. See if I can find it on my other map so I can match it up here. Screaming Tower. All right. So I know I probably misdescribed this when Maggie and Arianth showed up the last time, but we'll say that it was kind of a Twilight issue. It was hard to see. There was extra smog and fog and smoke in the air. So when you come upon this in the kind of medium daylight, we'll say, like the brightest light during the day seems to only ever get to be like a cloudy, overcast day, as you guys are surrounded by like these vines, and you come upon it. It is a 250-foot tall, twisted and hollow structure, and as you are approaching, you're maybe an hour's walk away still, but you can kind of see it above the tops of certain buildings, and you hear this faint kind of howling sound. And you can see people like setting their hourglasses to it and stuff, like turning their hourglasses over. So you assume that it's some sort of like a clock or a watch, like almost like the noon whistle. But you've heard this as you were nearing the different areas and kind of from across the donut about every hour or so. And as you get closer to it, scroll down, get past the stuff we already did. Yeah, so it is shaped kind of like a stalagmite coming up out of the ground, where it gets thinner at the top and is thicker at the bottom. And it seems to be completely unchiseled, but riddled with smooth holes. And the entire structure resembles some sort of a twisted stone flute. So you guys are approaching the lower doors to this. Everyone make me a perception check. Let's say DC 10. Should be pretty easy to see this in the daylight.
13.
Okay.
24.
All right. So everyone that makes it.
19.
All right. Cool. So it seems, and obviously, if you didn't make this, somebody would be like, "Hey, look at that." Um, you see crawling along the top third or so of this tower would appear to be gray, sort of reptilian humanoid creatures with wide wings, horns, hideous faces, and glowing red eyes. Although they keep their eyes squinted down to a slit during this, what must be the brightest point of their day. You see 97 or so gargoyles crawling and sunning themselves on the outside of this tower. Just sort of like bats, just all over each other, probably shitting everywhere. I don't know. As you approach the lower doors, you see what appears to be these stone gargoyles on the side of either side of these large oak doors in the visage of a gargoyle. They are like in this kind of demonic faced. It seems like this place has a theme. It's gargoyles. There are, as you approach, you see that the entrance to the monstrous spire is barred and appears locked. The doors are flanked by pedestals of chipped granite upon which these two gargoyles sit, and between the two gargoyles, strewn upon the platform, are some charred remains. So you get a big wooden door, two statues on either side, cooked dead body.
Can I do
Can I
an
tell
arcane?
anything about what the body of what or who?
Yeah, like is this like a humanoid type of form or what?
Yeah, it just looks like a person.
Hmm.
Like maybe a middle-aged guy. Uh, armor that's just singed beyond use or repair. Probably like just leather armor that's all burnt up. The helmet probably smashed halfway flat.
Can I do an arcana check to sense for any magical traps or the like?
Yeah, you detect without even making an Arcana check. You definitely detect a faint presence of magic.
I tell everybody what I sense.
He asks the guy or guide, I can't remember his name.
Jesh
What's the deal? Jesh.
says, "Oi, looks like that one didn't remember his poem."
Yeah, Maggie asks him, like, does this reciting this poem bind us in any way or attract the lady's attention?
Well, blasted if I know. I've never gone in there. Place probably cursed.
This is the portal that we need to go through with the disc in the poem.
Yeah.
I'll take the disc and hold in front and read the poem.
Okay. So make me a performance check.
Let's-
I will say with advantage because you wrote it down. I know somebody said they wrote it down,
Yeah, I
and
have it. I
and
have it written
now
down.
Tohan knows how to read again. So we'll say that it is a performance check with advantage. DC we'll say like
That's an add one.
well it's with advantage, so
Oh, okay, good thing. That's an at 5.
okay.
Maggie will give you guidance too, so it's a D4. But
Yeah, that's probably
Okay.
not going to get you to that 10. Um
Wait, what
okay.
does he need? Because I can also give him another D6 from Bardic Inspiration.
Okay, that could get you past the 10. So go ahead and roll me a d4 and a d6 and see if you're and add your 4 to it and see what we get. While I look up fireball.
It's a 12 total now.
nice.
Okay, so you have that moment in the middle of the poem where like you're still kind of recovering from that curse a little bit and you have a blank like just like a fucking memory fart where you forget how to read this one word and you pause and Maggie like mouths it to you and you're like, oh yeah, like nod and you like repeat the word correctly. To the point where like,
Latu,
yeah, exactly.
Verata.
That's the moment right there.
Nicotine.
Like the statues are starting to turn red,
Necktie.
their eyes are opening and they're starting to shake, and then you say the word and it's like they just kind of look at each other and shrug and go back to sleep.
I was just trying to show off that I know how to read again. So.
So the doors to this place open with a large creak, and let me see if I can do something here and show you guys a cool picture of this from the original module. Hopefully it doesn't take me too long here. Anybody use the Microsoft Snips ever?
Sometimes.
No, what is that?
I love this program.
What is it?
It is literally like a cut and paste for photos, but it can come out of like it's just a screen cap. It's just a really convenient way to do it.
Yeah, because some things won't even let you copy on their
Yeah, you
websites.
can like if you can't right click copy paste, you just literally can just like draw a square over whatever you want to take a picture of.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. So if I drop that in OBS under images, or on images.
So Zach, at some point, just to let you know, now that I have it, I picked a spell that allows me to draw a circle and connect to any already set circle, transport circle, and take people within it, a 10-foot circle. Hold on, let me get to the spells so I can actually say it properly.
Circle of teleportation.
Nice. So
And,
that way you're not
part
going to
of-
have to burn that once a day ability.
Exactly. But the deal is, I have to memorize the signals to two places, and as the DM, you have to determine the two that I get.
Okay.
And then as I go along, I can also learn them as I keep coming across different teleportation circles. I
Yeah.
just have to.
I definitely need to
Spend
do
the
a
time.
review of all your guys' character sheets after this session so that I can catch up with what you guys just got. Because I'm sure it's a lot. Where's this tower pick? Where did it save it to? Ah. Oh, you know what? I'm dumb. I can probably just drag it right into OBS. Or maybe not. Huh. Alright, well, that's taking too long. I was going to show you. I'll drop it into the messenger at some point after the game. Picture the tower.
Hey Dave, how many temporary hit points do we get now? I think I missed it when you said it before.
I believe it was 16.
It was
Right?
16, yeah.
Thanks.
One of the gargoyles kind of opens one eye cautiously, and this time it's not glowing red. And just says, well, what you lot waiting for then? Come on inside, we gotta shut this door, there's a draft. I don't know why, but all gargoyles are just Jim Henson characters in my mind. Every
Yeah.
Love it.
All right, I guess we step on in.
Mhm.
Maybe we'll find Bowie in here.
What babe?
I watched that last week with my son. He loved that movie actually, which is
Nice.
great. 'Cause
Awesome.
I love that movie. So
That's
It's one of my
Oh, yeah.
all-time favorite movies from when
Yeah,
I
it's up there in the top 5 probably.
That movie and Legend.
I was just talking about Legend yesterday, and I have people I talked to have never seen it.
See, I remember Legend, but I remember The Last Unicorn, the animated version, basically. Like, they were pretty much the same story, like, dark evil trying to kill the last unicorn. Like, okay. But
I do
this
remember
was,
vaguely remember the last Unicorn
it was like
animation,
some
but I remember
really
Legend far better.
crazy, yeah, it was some really crazy, like, I don't think it was Ralph Bakshi, I think it was somebody like him, like that crazy, like, heavy metal style animation, like Canadian, I don't know who originally made it. It wasn't Japanimation.
I know what you're talking about, like the Care Bear movie kind of thing.
Yeah, it was like slightly toned down for kids from what Legend was, but it was still. I remember that movie being like upsetting as a small child, being like, "Oh my God, this is so scary."
We had a lot of 80s kids movies that were upsetting for children. I mean, when Artex died in the Swamps of Sadness,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
a lot of us were scarred.
yeah,
Hmm.
probably.
Still
But
am.
like, oh, they killed a horse. Fuck. Like nobody was expecting that. Yeah. Um.
And they drew it out.
Oh yeah, Atreyu was like sobbing while it was going on.
Now we just had a moment of silence for Artex.
Yo.
So let's see. As you walk into this tower, as is seeming to be common on your adventures, this place has this TARDIS-like effect, where from the outside it looks like it's maybe 200, 250 feet tall. From the inside, it's dizzying when you look up because the first at least 50 feet above you is occupied by empty space, with a spiral stair climbing around the outside edge of the tower. Um, Almost like clockwork, uh, the um, the howling sounds of the tower begin again. Back on the map. And you are all nearly knocked out of the door by the upward draft coming out from a huge floating portal of fog and ice, floating about 30 feet below foot level. Like you step in, and there's essentially like a 1 foot ledge. And right as you step in, this huge gust blows you, Toan, back into anybody that's following behind you. And you are essentially knocked down outside the door, like in a big, like, comic Three Stooges pile. Um, but this, okay. Um, this sort of outward push of wind seems like it could be very dangerous to any who are in the tower when they go in. Like you could be blown clear from the stairs if you're climbing up them. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, in the brief second that you got to peek down into the this floating, swirling mist, you see a faint light, and you can hear what sounds like thousands and thousands of wings flapping on the other side of what appears to be a small, glowing white portal in the middle of this void. Um,
Is that where we're supposed to be going?
you were not told to go into any portals or anything. You were told to go and bring this disc to a creature named Saraga that inhabited this tower. Blinking sign next to the stairs points upwards and says, "This way, this way, this way."
All right. Well, let's just ignore the portal or at least keep a wary eye on the portal and go the way we're supposed to.
Should we tie ourselves to each other? Like, is it that windy or?
Well, you know that this wind was typically speaking blowing about every hour or so, and it seems to have just blown its course. You know, it took a few minutes for it to pass, but it passed. Um, so yeah, you guys have been hearing this, and you can only assume that it goes off every hour or so. So it's up to you whether or not you decide to tie yourselves together. You can hear some sort of cries coming from above you, and as you look up, you see what appears to be around another 100 gargoyles or so, all clinging to the inside of the tower, similar to the way that they were on the outside. All of them maybe 100 feet up or so on what appears to be a ceiling of some sort. And you can kind of see that the stone stairs seem to ascend up into this ceiling to lead on to higher levels of the tower. So you're basically in like one big room with a spiral staircase that goes up 100 feet, with 100 gargoyles at the top screaming obscenities at you.
Nice.
Well, it might be a good idea to tie ourselves together, considering we don't know if it's going to take more than an hour to get up these stairs.
I've got 50 feet of rope.
I also have rope.
I have rope too.
All right. So you guys are able to tie yourselves together in whatever fashion you'd like. How far apart are you tying yourselves? Just so I know.
I don't know. What's a good rule of thumb?
Like
one
15
one
feet?
body length?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe, yeah.
I literally wouldn't even know where to begin on that. Yeah, well, I mean, I could say that you guys could comfortably move around with 15 feet of rope in between you without any real detriment to your movement, other than you're tied together.
Yeah, put Vanadia either in the back or front. I'll take either the back or front. So
Yeah, like
It's
if
got strong-
somebody falls, you guys can just slingshot them back to the wall.
yeah,
Right.
It's a thwack.
Totally. Yeah, because either one of us should be able to like grab something on the wall and grab the rope with the other arm and have enough strength to pull.
Yeah, like theoretically, I think between the two of you, you're strong enough to swing the entire party around by this rope like a fucking weird.
Okay. Let's start doing
I'm
that.
not saying you should do that, but I'm saying theoretically, you probably are strong enough to do that sort of thing.
And in actuality, consider me kind of tied I'll be on my broom, so that all you have to do is if I get blown around, just make sure I don't.
Yeah, you aren't like blown into oblivion in that big portal.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'll be lighter and easier to manage.
So you're just kind of like a balloon that we're tied to us right now.
Like, but a balloon with perfect buoyancy, so it's just floating along neutrally.
Yeah.
And I also tied myself to the broom a little bit so that I can't be blown off my broom.
Nice.
So yeah, after this takes maybe, we'll say 15 minutes or so for you guys to get yourself all situated and tied in a way that seems like a reasonably safe fashion. And you begin to head up the stairs. You get around the first turn, and there's a sign just where was just out of view from downstairs, and it's got an arrow pointing down, and it says this way to the to the elemental airplane, or elemental plane of air, I should say, probably.
That's not where we need to go.
I read that out loud again. just showing off that I know how to read.
Like
All right.
like loudly, like
Yeah.
like a 6-year-old does when they figure it out.
Hmm.
I smile and nod at you encouragingly because I'm a avid reader myself.
All right, we'll continue on, I guess, right?
Alright, as you climb the stairs further, it's going fairly well. You know, it's not taking you too long. It's kind of slow going to make sure everybody has the right amount of slack and stuff, but you're moving at a reasonable pace. And soon you've approached this ceiling, and the gargoyles, although they are increasingly close to you now, some of them are jeering at your clothing, calling you tourists. Others are saying things about your mothers. But in general, they're being rude dickheads. But none of them have made to so much as make any form of physical assault. Like, they haven't, like, spit at you or, like, flicked things at you. Like, they're just talking trash, basically, right now.
Which one said something about my mom?
One that's about 15 feet away from you is clinging to the ceiling.
I just stare direct. I stare into the depths of his soul.
Give me an intimidation check.
Oh, goody. That's a dirty 20.
Okay.
Ooh.
So the
I have
gargoyle
plus
sort
6.
of it tries to stare back for a minute, but then after just, a brief little moment of locking eyes, like it turns away, kind of like balks, and it sort of crawls behind a pile of other gargoyles that are crawling all over each other and shouting shit at you.
I did the little like fiery thing with my eyes to give like a little glimpse of my fiendish blood.
Maybe some smoke comes out of your nostrils.
That's what whenever I do the intimidation. That's in my head. That's what's going on. Because I'm like +6. There's got to be something going on there.
And as you
You get like
approach
those fiery eyes.
as you
Yeah.
approach the ceiling, you see that there's essentially it's what appears to be just a regular the bottom of a wooden cellar door leading up into the next floor of this tower.
Should we knock?
Just is it like something you just push up or what?
Yeah, it's just got a big handle on it and just is propped down onto the floor. So if you would like to try to push it up, you can try to push it up.
Yeah, push it up.
Your strength, I'm not going to bother making you make a check because it's going to be off your character anyways. It's just been a regular heavy door. So it opens with a loud creak, and as
I
you
rolled one, by the way. It was a 32.
yeah, that's all right, guys, we should be really quiet. You go to lift it, and it just flips over wicked easy and
Right.
bangs on the floor.
Just bashes off the hinges
Yeah,
and shatters on the ceiling.
yeah, snaps one of the cross beams on it.
Sorry, guys. Still getting the hang of the belt.
So as you do this, you notice a small sign at one edge of the at one edge of the door that you hadn't seen before, and it seems to have some various symbols of what appear to be symbols of chaotic gods and anarchy carved into it by gargoyle claws, more than likely, and the words "knock first," except for knock is spelled with a capital N-O-C-K. But nothing unseemly happens as you bash the door open, though. Beyond this trapdoor, you are in a round, half-circular floored room with a smaller spiral staircase leading up to what appears to be a room above you that occupies maybe a small third of the tower. Like it's like a closed-in area where it's like a stone wall from the interior. You guys can't see what's in there. And we'll say that it's now been probably 20 minutes or so since you guys first entered the tower and the wind last blew. So you guys are still kind of open and exposed to this central like wind tunnel. And you see that on this floor there are also three small chambers, and it appears that there's only a door to the chamber on the very end. Uh, None of the walls or doors of these have markings of any kind.
All right, I guess we'll go to the one on the end, right?
Sure.
Should we shoot it with an arrow?
We can.
It said knock first, like knock an arrow.
What
So
kind
yeah,
of knock should we do? Like a shave and a haircut, or?
Oh, I was thinking just like put an arrow in the door and see if anything happens.
Okay, we can try that. I thought you were just making a knock joke, but not a knock joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can shoot it with a crossbow if you want.
okay. No roll for it. It's a big wooden door. If you can't hit it with a crossbow from here, you're not a level 11 adventurer. And yeah, the crossbow bolt thunks firmly into the door. It just seems to be a regular door. It doesn't have any effect on the crossbow bolt other than stopping it.
Well, we knocked.
Well, we
Guess
knocked.
we can open.
Yeah,
I pull the bolt out and stick it back in my pack.
now, as you go to pull the bolt out, you pull on the bolt and the door swings open.
Oh, nice.
So it literally just opens the door. It was not locked or anything. And it leads into a small, like 4 foot by 5 foot chamber, roughly. The door doesn't close behind you or anything, it just stays open. And the only thing in there is a bas-relief visage of a gargoyle similar to the one outside the front door. And the back of the chamber, however, is another door that looks exactly like the first one.
Guess we'll knock on that too and open it.
Okay. You knock. You don't hear any response. You go ahead and open the door, and inside of it is another bas-relief carving of a gargoyle in the wall, and another door in the back of this chamber. Just so I know, who's going in here first?
I'll take the lead.
Okay.
I'll go in behind him.
Tohan, what is your passive perception?
14.
Okay. Yeah, you are able to notice that these carvings have holes where the eyes should be, although they are plugged from the other side. Like they have something stuffed in there to make it so that you can't look into the eye holes.
Can I assume we're all untied from each other now, or we're
Uh,
off the steps, right?
You guys had not said you untied from each other, so I'm assuming you're all still tied together.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to stay tied together at this point?
We're not in danger of being blown away, right?
At this point, you guys are in a closed-in room, essentially, like with the
Yeah.
doors open.
We can always just set that back up when we want to go back through there.
Yeah. Now it might be more of a hindrance than a help.
Yep.
I pointed out to Arianth and asked what she thinks. Looks like magic. Something.
Oh wait, what are we looking at?
The eyeballs of the gargoyle. It looks like something was taken out and then it's plugged up.
I do an Arcana check and have Reggie take a look. You want me to roll with that?
Reggie just tells you that it looks like some sort of a device so that people could be spied on in this room. It's like, oh, I hope it's not one of those disgusting peep shows. Sort of strange peep shows would gargoyles have. Ooh.
I just wave at the gargoyle then. Hello.
Yeah, nothing happens.
All right. Well, they could probably like loosen the knots and step out of the rope, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So should we continue on to the third room?
Yeah.
I'll stay. How big are the rooms, Zach?
They're only about 4 foot long by 5 foot wide.
All right, I pack up my broom and walk for now.
Okay. Upon opening the last door, you see that you appear to have been walking into something that is a part of the room that you saw above you. You're not sure if the room's sloped gently around the outside edge of this tower, or if there's some magic involved, but you find yourself standing on a platform that's maybe 30 feet wide and like a half of a circle, semicircle, like crescent moon almost, with a large hole kind of in the center where the wind blows through, and you can see pieces of it eroded out of this platform. So it's kind of like a hole in the floor where part of the wall is collapsed, but the rest of it is sort of an enclosed room that you're in. In one corner is a spiral staircase leading up, and the room appears to be mostly unfurnished, although there's a pile of rags in one corner. And hunched over in that corner is sort of a strange, long-nosed creature, somewhere in between a gnome and a goblin, with wiry white hair and long clawed fingers. And in its hand, you see a long black needle dripping with some sort of liquid. And as it turns its
Hmm.
shoulder slightly, you can see that in front of it on a small, like, kind of tray is a wooden plate with a cup and some sort of dark, like, liquid in it. And with her other hand, she is holding down what appears to be a tiny, tiny humanoid of some sort. Perhaps an imp or a pixie. And before you can react and before she notices your presence, the needle gets jabbed into the pixie. And she lifts it up off the plate, examining it for a moment, turning it over, and then crams it into her mouth and begins chewing. Loudly and disgustingly.
Ugh.
Does our Eye of Argo say anything about her?
Yes. The first thing it flashes is patch required. Older data needs to be updated. Reverting to second edition, and it tells you that this is called an IARC or a Margoyle. The little subtext says IARC is probably the name because stat blocks are weird in second edition. Me and Nick were talking about this earlier. It deems it to be a creature of low intelligence, typically chaotic evil, armor class, it blinks an error between 2 and 18. So we can assume that for 5th edition it probably has an AC of about 18. It tells you it can fly, its movement rate is 30, and that this is a hit dice 6 creature. Making it not particularly powerful for our purposes. But it does say that it is immune to non-magical weapons, and that it is a subclass of gargoyle. It kind of blinks over your headpiece.
So kill it or what?
Maggie, well met Margoyle. We're looking for, and says I can't remember the name, but the name of who they're looking for.
Zaraga. And she says,
Zaraga.
yes, well, if you're looking for Zaraga, you found her. Although I don't know how much good it'll do you when you're dead. Intrude upon my lair and I'll be forced to eat you like the vermin that you... Oh my, is that one of, Inimingle's granite discs? Oh my, I'm so sorry. Yes, you are most welcome here, my guests. And she begins, like, trying to tidy up the pile of rags. She, like, as soon as she sees that Toan's holding this disc, like, it just comes, she does a 180. She says, oh, just a moment. And she reaches into the cage that she was holding 2 more of these imps. And she snaps one of their necks and slams it into the liquid and crams it down her face like she's like a 2-year-old eating a chicken nugget.
Excuse me, could you stop doing that for a little while?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to finish up my dinner.
Yeah, maybe you could just do that later.
As you're talking to her, the third one of these things that was in the cage that was cowering in fear makes a break for it. Runs across the table. Second die roll. And she slams her fist down 3, 4, 5 times, chasing across this little platform table thing she's at. And it manages to dive into an oversized rat hole in the side of her wall in between a pair of stones. She said, look what you made me do. Vermin!
Easy come, easy go, right?
Yes, well, don't worry. I'll put on an Inimingle's bill, I suppose. So, she says, what exactly is the plan that you have for invading Dirkel's tower?
I just kind of like half draw my sword and shrug.
Bunch of fresh cutters, huh? Or Burks. Fools in your language. She said. She just laughs. Like calls you fools
No,
to your
I
face.
got it from the context clues.
Maggie says we thought from Intermingle that that you'd have an idea of how we could approach this without upsetting the. I also forget the name of the group that we're messing with.
The harmonium.
Harmonium.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
as soon as you say harmonium, she goes, ah, tuh, and hacks a big loogie on her floor. She's like, bunch of law-abiding citizens, just sheep, all of them, if you ask me. Nothing better than chaos in life, dearie.
Well, uh, we'd like to accomplish this for Intermingle and don't want to create any complications for ourselves here in the future.
She sort of laughs at that, and she says, you come to the wrong city if you want to avoid complication. It's all that lives here.
Well, we'd like to find the most simple and unobtrusive way to make this rescue, and we're told that you can help with that.
Ah, yes, rescue. Bit more like a custody hearing, if you ask me. But you didn't hear that from me, no. Anyways, yes. Pix, pox, bring the map. She snaps her fingers, and a pair of gremlins come scurrying over with armloads of these map tubes and begin arguing over which one it is, like opening one, closing it. The other one opens one, points at something, says something in some crazy gremlin like "Blah, blah, blah, blah," gibberish, and then the other one like bops it on the head with a map tube. They start fighting, and Zaraga reaches down, smacks both of them in the back of the head, and takes one of the tubes away. And she says, "It's this one, you damn fools! Get!" She just shoos them away, and they go running back off to the side. She spreads out a map of what you can only assume is Durkale's stronghold. She tells you that the easiest way to get into Durkale's would be if someone exceptionally strong with the party could bend the bars on the upper windows. Her gargoyles could simply fly a party of 4 like yourselves, land them at the top floors, and work their way down until they find the child and escape out the front door. Seems simple enough to me, she says, if you've got the gallstones for it.
I flex. I can do that.
Maggie says, "Why out the front door? Why not back through the window?"
Tohan flexes. He's like, "You mean these gallstones?"
When you ask her why not back out through the window, she sort of shrugs and says, "Why work against gravity?"
Won't we encounter the harmonium on our way down?
Well, yes, I suppose. If you prefer, I can have my gargoyles wait, although that will draw suspicion.
Hmm.
She
Might be
says,
easier if we get a flying carpet.
So, where? Tell us more about where the child is kept in this tower and what we should expect once we're in there.
right, so she rolls out this map. I'm trying to find this map. I was just at this map a second ago. Scrolling, up scrolling. Here we go. She says, so the child is kept in one of the upper floors. That much I know. Sorry, I'm still scrolling looking for it. She says, I believe Dernan has a pair of nannies, if you will, watching after the child. That would be one Tergon Flameblade of those harmonious bastards. Hardheads, if you ask me. And some woman. She may be Dirkale's lover. I'm not quite sure. I don't have all the inside information like that. She tells you there are approximately 200 trained soldiers, uh, many of which are going to be positioned in the outer yards of the enclosed courtyard. I really wish I could find this map. I don't know what happened to it. I think I'm missing pages out of my PDF for some reason. I wonder if I like opened a different copy of it.
Does anyone else remember? Am I remembering correctly that Inamingle told us not to, basically that this shouldn't be like a violent operation? It would be a problem if it is.
He said that it might be better if it were not like a outright attack on the place.
Yeah, I think he said we might get thrown in like a maze or something.
Generally speaking, that attacks against the Harmonium are met with pretty, it's sort of like attacking the guards in Skyrim when you're still low level. I don't know how many of you had that experience, but it's not a good one.
Oh yeah. Didn't stop me from trying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not telling you you can't do it by any means. I'm just warning you it might not turn out well.
So the child is watched over by two guardians, one of whom might be the mother.
She didn't say that. She said Dirkel's lover.
Oh, lover.
Yes, if you question her about the mother of the child, give me a persuasion check with advantage. It seems like she's a bit gossipy, but she keeps kind of stopping herself from saying certain things. Let's see if Mother Maggie can goad it out of her. There's some motherly gossip going on.
Got a 19 plus a 4. Oh my god. Here it is. So that's 20 altogether, dirty 20.
All right, so she explains to you that the other woman, whose name she remembers is Emilicia, was taken on as a lover by Durnan more recently. The child came into his life several years ago when he is rumored to have had a tryst with a Tenari succubus, a sort of demon that preys upon the lust of men. But it seems that the child Umbra, as she is so named, is some sort of a love child between a demon and like a civil servant of lawful good, and he's kind of trying to keep it under wraps.
And is the mother in the picture at all?
She tells you that the mother is not known per se. Like the rumors don't have any idea of who it could be. Only that it was a succubus that was somehow involved with one of Durkal's like military campaigns.
I asked her what is the Inimingle's employers, what's their interest in this?
Oh, can't really say. It's client confidentiality, that sort of thing. And she holds out her hand.
Whose client are you? Or who is your client?
I think she'd like a bribe.
She looks at you like you're a jackass, and then looks at her palm, and then looks at you again, and then looks at Vanadio, and she says, "I think she'd like a bribe," and nods.
Well, Maggie doesn't care about money. If Kohan hands her some,
I give her 15 platinum.
I was gonna toss her one. Jeez.
she takes the platinum and she bites down hard on one of them, leaving like gnarly looking like alligator type tooth marks, like they're all crooked and weird and shit. And literally squashes the coin, and she sort of licks her teeth a little bit, and she says, "Suppose I could make a few drinks from this." And she shoves it down into a pouch that she's got. she grabs a crystal ball off from the counter. Let's see if I can get this picture to work. I might have figured this out. Maybe not. She takes this crystal ball off from the counter and she finishes sweeping up, like, you know, the guy's foot where it, like, she bit it off and it fell on the ground. And in the crystal ball, you see what appears to be Durnan's fortress, with these patrols rolling through it. And you can kind of like see this child, and in the in this, it's an onyx crystal ball. Sorry, it's a specific thing in this apparently. You can see this girl kind of in her room, and she's like checking the door, and the door seems locked. And it seems like this Zaraga woman is scrying into the tower at this moment, into Durnan's stronghold, that is. So you see this girl, she's probably about 11 or 12 years old, and she has fairly typical features of what you would consider to be a tiefling. You know, some horns, kind of a darkish blue skin, fangs just poking out a little bit. Maybe even like a small like tail kind of going, and she's messing with this door that's locked. And so she takes a step back and she kind of tips her head down for a second and opens clearly what can only be a dimension door into the door, just to go to the other side of the door. Like it just opens a hole in the door basically. Zaraga actually gasps when she does this, and she says, yeah, maybe it's true what the Zaktar say. Maybe she is one come again of the god of portals, Aether.
Seems like she should be able to portal itself farther then.
If what they say is true, she can open a portal to anywhere in the known multiverse. Bum bum bum.
Gee, she would come in handy, wouldn't she?
Yeah. When the music goes off, Zaraga looks up and looks all around. She's like, "Did you guys hear that?"
The fourth wall was broken.
Yeah, if I don't break the fourth wall at least once as a DM during a session, I'm not doing my job.
I think now that we've got a bard with us, we always hear the music.
Yeah, like the soundtrack is actually just Arianth playing songs in the background the whole time.
Yeah, I absentmindedly have my invisible servant like playing my flute.
I think he would like keep you accompaniment. It's like a set of wood blocks or something. Marches in time. He's got tap shoes. It's an invisible servant with tap shoes. That's amazing. So as
with this
oh, go ahead.
Maggie says, with this power, why do you think she's still trapped in there?
Well, it appears the child is young and doesn't quite yet have full control over her capabilities. As with any, it takes time and dedication to master one's craft. She kind of waves her hand again over this crystal ball, and the child is running down the corridor, and sort of the angle changes. It's like almost like Resident Evil, like the old school ones where it like jerks the camera angle to another angle. And the child goes running down the hall, and she comes to another door, and she checks it, and this one creaks open. She peeks inside, and then you see her go in, and it cuts to a scene of her in the room, and there's a man sleeping on the bed, white beard coming down to like his almost to his belly button, crooked hat on one post of the bed, clearly indicating some like covered in magical symbols, like indicating this might be the wizard Tagon you've heard about. And as she's creeping along the edge of his room, she sees a wand sitting at the base of the bed. And you can see a close up of it, and it's like labeled on the bottom like S&M or S&B wand makers, like Wand of Frost, model 2002, uh, warranty void if tampered with, and like over the sticker it's ripped, so you can tell that this wizard's been souping it up. And she reaches out and she takes this wand, um, and just as her hand gets hold of it, a adult hand shoots into vision, and it's a kind of middle-aged, tall, red-headed woman with a very stern look on her face, and she yanks the wand away from the child, and she starts yelling. You can't hear anything, but you can tell she's yelling at the child, and the man wakes up in a start, and he starts flailing about, and they're having like a whole scene in there where the woman is yelling at the child, and she says, "Gah, drama!" and she waves her hand, and the scene starts to go black. Um, so you can only imagine that that's Tagon and Emilicia, the nannies that you are told about. They seem to be more in line with people who would be of their own interest, more so than maybe like when they immediately begin arguing with each other and yelling at the child. Like you just don't get a good feeling about them. Like they're maybe not the
Mhm.
nicest people in the world.
All right. Well, Maggie strongly desires to free this kid from this situation, and asks again, I guess, what the if she has any suggestions for how he can get in without having to fight.
Yeah. And in regards to your when you guys what did you hand her for a bribe specifically? If you handed her something, right?
15 platinum.
Okay. Um, so she kind of gives it consideration. She says, "Probably shouldn't be telling you this. Here's the thing. Me and Inamingle, we don't always see eye to eye, and you seem like upright folk. You seem like people that'll do a job right, do it for the right reasons, right? So you're planning on rescuing this child for not monetary gain, I'd assume, but just for the good of the cause, yes?" And she sort of leans in when she says this, and she's squinting at you.
That's generally the case.
Maggie says, "We agreed to do it for the good of the child."
And she nods and she says, "Well, excellent, good. Here's the deal. That son of a bitch Inamingle promised me years ago that he would release me from the binding spell that he put on me, and that he would allow me to travel back to my home plane. This is my final job for him, and if it all goes well, I'll be headed home. Isn't that something?" And it's funny because you literally remember Inamingle telling you something very similar about himself, that he had been bound to be a sentry at this one specific spot. Um, and you're kind of getting the gist of how Sigil works at this point. Like, it's almost like you're sort of a wage slave to the city. Like, you sort of have a job, and if you don't do that job, bad things could happen to you. At least that's
Indentured servitude.
Yeah, kinda. It seems like a city founded with its capitalist ideals on this indentured servitude. Like, people that would be working for money in the realms are working because they have to in order to exist in Sigil.
Maggie,
Not a fan of that.
Yeah, and she tells you that there is one faction in the city that wants to do away with all of this. Some of them would be called anarchists, but really they are just those that seek chaos. She says it is the natural order after all.
I can get behind that.
I look up with interest.
Um, so she goes on to tell you that the client that hired Inamingle, she believes to be the mother of the child. She can't be sure, but rumors have it that there is a succubus that's been traveling the streets of Sigil in the ladies' ward, uh, asking a lot of questions, essentially. She says, normally, good information like that would cost you a ton of jink. Don't think I'd put my head out there like that for nothing. This could get me, sent to the Book of the Dead. But I would that the child would be free, Because when the child's free, I become free. Simple as that. Do you think you can do this?
I think we're up to the task.
Right. I can do you one favor. Here. And she shoves these ratty pieces of paper into your hand. There's 4 of them. She says, "Them there's me best scrolls of invisibility. Last you 12 hours if they need be. Just don't do anything stupid and you won't be seen."
I hand one to each to everybody.
Maggie says, "Is there magic in the tower that'll see through this?"
No, it shouldn't be. These ones were forged here by my very own servant. And she sort of
How long will they
smiles.
last?
About 12 hours or so, I believe. Should be
Oh,
from
wow.
sunup to sundown, or sundown to sunup. Your choice.
Very cool.
All right. Well, sounds like we got a plan. Fly over with the gargoyles, wrench open the window, grab the kid, turn invisible, grab the kid. Maggie could also send a sending spell to so Maggie asks, do you think the child will understand what's happening and will work with us on this?
Could be. Could be not. Seems like a bit of fighter, that one. You got to be careful. Those half-demon children, they're a bit of a handful at that age, if you know what I mean.
All right. Better not give her heads up that we're coming then.
So if there is nothing else, Zaraga bids you to get ready, and she will get her gargoyles ready to literally fly you there whenever you would like. And by now it's about midday, so she just asks you what time of day you would like to go. And as this last little bit is coming to a close, the wind just goes off through this area, and none of you are out in the central area. However, again, if you were, you would have had to make some serious dexterity saves and probably strength saves to try and grab those that fell. Yeah, this massive dissonant howl goes off again.
Maggie asks, is there some kind of guard process or a time of day where it'd be best or worst to go?
She says, "Well, best case scenario, you go in at night, invisibility. We get you to the windows. You go in through the top, quietly grab the kid, come back out through the windows like you said. Job's done." Or, as is the way in this city, somehow they found out we're coming. In that case, you show up, the gods try to make you dead, and you bum rush the place. Don't think that makes much of a difference when you do it.
And what about this succubus walking around the town? What does that have to do with anything?
She tells you that she believes that
She might be the mom.
she might be the mom
Oh.
of this child.
Got it on with a demon.
Okay.
Yeah, she the way she makes it sound like Durkale essentially, this is his dirty little secret for being a lawful good, you know, do-gooder type. He's like a Dudley Do-Right, and he's got a love child with Natasha from Boris and Natasha. It's not a good look for him. So it seems as if he's just trying to squirrel this kid away and keep her a secret.
Mm-hmm.
While the mother seems to be trying to get her back. So
Well,
what?
if the
Yeah, what?
dad's so ashamed of the child, it almost sounds like she might be better off with the mom.
Well, I mean, demon, half demon. You know, we'll just have to see.
So do we want to head over or wait till night?
I think we're gonna wait till night, right?
Yeah, I would think like just before like nightfall, we could go
Yeah.
invisible and zip in.
Sounds good.
I'll just follow along on my broom. I don't need a gargoyle to pull
Well, I
me.
was gonna say maybe we could try to find the succubus before we go too, if we have time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Um,
that's what we should do. Is there any
Yeah.
kind of Can our friend give us any kind of description or any guidance on where to go? Because this place is huge.
Well, we know a place that does magic carpet tours. Maybe we can take a tour and look
That's a
for
good
it.
idea.
Yeah, absolutely. You would definitely have time to schedule a magic carpet tour. Um, it's just a
But
matter
what
of
should our plan be as far as like where we should search or whatever? I mean, we're not just gonna ask people on the street, "Are you a succubus?"
yeah. Does she know? Does she know like where we would find this the succubus?
She does not know. She says that that's one aspect of working within a mingle that is always troubled her. Is he's never very clear up front about his intentions with a job.
Can we use the Eye of Argos to kind of clue us in on where a succubus is in the crowds?
Um,
Do a little Terminator scan.
so like as you examine the map, you kind of you have Reggie kind of help tune the eye a little bit, and as it's doing so, it begins to sort of put in additional HUD information on the map, one of which pops up as the Hive being the central area where demonkind tend to exist in Sigil. It's just one of the various wards of Sigil. So it runs, it's pretty much opposite the ladies' ward on the donut, or at least a good 160 degrees away. Um, and he says that any number of vile creatures can be found there, all stemming from abyssal origins, from the Nine Hells, from the uh, the terrible plains of Pandemonium and such not. So that's where like the worst of the worst tend to hang out. Versus, it's almost in direct opposition to the ladies' word, where all like the lawful people seem to hang out.
Maggie tells Reggie we don't use that kind of language anymore. We prefer the term evil to vile. Thank you.
She says, "Oh, I'm never sure of the correct nomenclature. Hundreds of years as a staff, you know."
So could they get over there and back? I guess. Yeah. Can they like take the gargoyles or something?
Or even, well, we could get a flying carpet, couldn't we?
Yeah, you guys have plenty of time still to get a flying carpet, and sort of case the joint. And if you want to do that, it's maybe like I think 50 coppers or something. It's not much to like rent a little quick ride to go around the city. Um, Especially if you are seen traveling with any of the gargoyles from
Yeah.
the tower, which you would most certainly be sent out with an escort. So the before you leave, Zaraga looks at you, Tohan, and says, "So, are you going to give me that or not?" Points at the disc.
Oh, Maggie jumps in and says, "What can you tell us about your lady?"
Oh, the Lady of Pain. Yes, well, it's a bit of a sensitive subject. I don't really care about talking about it, I suppose. You see, the lady is, well, she's the great mystery. She's that which eludes us all. She is the last secret you learn. Those that would go against her will find themselves in Terrible situations, terrible danger, and terrible pain, usually. Those that seek to promote her motives are almost as bad off. Worship of the lady is forbidden. Never utter a name as though she were a deity, lest you draw her wrath.
Maggie says, what if somebody has inadvertently upset her? What can they do?
She looks at you for a moment and blinks and then says, die? Like, almost
Ma-
like she's confused by the question. Like, if
Maggie
one.
says, there a safe way to have audience with the Lady of Pain?
No. No one speaks to the lady hurt themselves and lives. Any who wish to address concerns about the city may speak to any of her Dabbis. Those creatures you see wandering about repairing things, they are the voice of the lady. They act as her eyes, ears, and her mouth. Some say her stomach as well. She sort of grins a little bit.
So we were told that some of the old Davis are most knowledgeable about her, about the portals. Where would we find them?
The oldest Dabbis live in the oldest places, deep under the city streets, near the outer shell. You think that she's referring to the outer shell of Sigil itself, like when you guys were falling and you saw like the outside of the donut. So it's sort of like the equivalent of underground, but, really it's still floating in the sky. They say long ago this place was just a fortress, a floating city, zipping about the stars, the heavens. It could go anywhere it wanted, bringing the Dabbis to and from all manner of worlds. Then, the god Aether, god of doors, began locking the doors that resided in the city, preventing the Dabbis from leaving. When the lady showed up, she threw out Aether and took over as the regent of the city. They even say that she forbade the gods themselves from traveling in the city, although the mouthpieces of those gods are still apparently welcome here. And she glances at Maggie when she says this and kind of looks her up and down. Like she's kind of surprised that anyone of clerical nature is even in this area. Like, that's one thing you guys have not seen. You have not seen a heavy presence of temples or religious sigils. Like, it seems like there's a lot of faction symbols, and it seems like maybe these political factions have sort of taken over in lieu of what the gods would serve in the realms where you're from. So as you're, we'll assume, flying your carpet over, and uh, these things are pouring through your head, these things this woman has said to you, you get a chance to look at Durkale's. And Durkale's stronghold is a harsh-looking compound composed of charcoal-colored stone, metal, and other less recognizable materials. The most intimidating feature is a monstrous claw-shaped tower well over 100 foot tall. Enclosing a spacious inner courtyard are 20-foot high walls topped with rusted metal spikes. Regardless of the time of day, shouts and stomping feet of trained harmonium soldiers can be heard from within the compound. The main entrance is barred by a pair of 15-foot high metal doors. The outside of the stronghold is clenched in razor vine, making it next to impossible for anyone to scale the walls.
That's the same vine that I moved when we were coming in, right?
Yep, same type of vine. You've actually noticed throughout the city there seem to be small patches of this that are actually cultivated for various uses. At one stall in the market area, you had seen that someone was making whips out of it. Just they had just hundreds of whips hanging up in their stall and like made out of different lengths of razor vine and all sorts of different fashioned things made from the stuff. And you've also seen these strange looking grub creatures being fed the excess that's being trimmed away from people's houses. You're not sure, but you think it might be some strange form of like a food animal, like something that they would raise and then kill, like a chicken, except for it's just this weird big grub.
Well, note to self: razor vine everywhere that I can control.
Yeah, absolutely. Although, as you experienced last time, the razor vine itself seems to have a bit of a willpower to it, so it actually gets to make a save versus that.
Yeah, but at least I know I can
But you can always
try
attempt.
to
Yeah, you can always attempt it. Like if you're in combat or something, just be on
influence.
your turn. Scanning past backstory that I don't need to tell you guys yet. Scanning past backstory. I don't know where the map went in this. That's super weird. Maybe it didn't save it when I saved it to my computer from the actual page. Anyway. So yeah, you fly by this. That's basically what you see is that it's a large stone structure with several kind of cordoned off courtyards and a large tower in the center. And the tower seems to have bars on all of the windows. There are, however, small ledges where someone could stand to get enough leverage to try to bend said bars. Um, the other thing you notice is that on each of the four corners there are ballistae, both like it seems like they are manned in, three to a ballista, which, as you know from experience, would allow for fairly rapid firing. Um, and it seems like there is constant training going on there. So yeah, you guys are kind of flying around the city. Is there anywhere else you'd like to check out while you're flying?
We were gonna check out try and find the succubus, weren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see. Go up here to some of our other books. We're gonna find out about the
Possibly
hive.
use the Eye of Argos to like scan for a succubus.
Yeah.
So as you attempt to isolate succubuses, uh, you definitely get several pings throughout the hive. Like it's maybe like 45 or 50 of these things wandering around through there. And you're actually told at one point by Jesh, maybe when you asked him about this on your way back out of the tower, like, so what's up with like finding a succubus? He would have told you that most demons reside in the hive, and that it seems to be the spot where they go if they are not actively seeking something.
Mm-hmm.
There is one that you see that is around the lower ward, and it is actually at the Black Sail Tavern.
Let's swoop on down.
Okay. Skip forward a little bit. Adventure here. Skippity, 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 skip. Sorry, I'm skipping really far down in the PDF because there's a separate thing. All right. As you arrive at the Black Sail, you see Turia, the guard who was sitting with Inamingle earlier, the mercenary type. She's standing outside the front door and she says, "Sorry, no entry, private party right now."
Private what? Sorry.
We're expected.
She says, "Yes, I don't think so." She sort of looks at you and smiles.
Can I try to persuade her?
You can try to do a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Alrighty.
Maggie will give you guidance.
I got a 22 on without the guidance.
All right, so you give kind of a pretty good explanation of why you need to go in and check this out. And she says, "Be that as it may, Inamingle has requested that I keep everyone out for the time being. It's nothing personal, dear, just business." Um,
Maggie says we're looking for a succubus who may be important to the success of Inamingle's mission, and would like to speak with her when possible.
all right, roll me a persuasion check, also with disadvantage.
Persuasion.
Because Arianth had a pretty good case, but
All right, so 25 altogether with disadvantage.
all right. She sort of looks at you and sighs, and she says, "Well, I can tell you four lot won't let this go. Stay here, I'll be right back." She goes inside, and you can hear the latch on the door on the inside closing and locking. And you hear shouting, and then you hear her shouting back. And Jesh, at this point, is with you and kind of looks a little uncomfortable. And he says, "Perhaps it'd be best if we got going. You've only got about an hour or so left." And it could be, at this point, Turia comes blasting back out of the door. And she says, "It's just like a Tanari. Inamingle will know what to do with you, Cambion." And she points at Jess, and then she just starts to storm off. Jess begins to chase after her and says, "Wait, Turia, it's not what you think." And she just blips out of existence. She teleports away. Jess turns and he says, women, right?"
I just glare at him.
I smirk at him.
Maggie says, "So is that an invitation to enter, or?"
And when you say this, you turn back towards the door that is still wide open, and you can hear someone laughing in the doorway that sounds like it could be Inamingle. It's a deep booming laugh, and then you see stalking out kind of abruptly is what appears to be a tall, beautiful woman in a hooded cloak, like a robe, coming down, covering her quite well. And she's pulling her hood up, and yeah, she strikes all of you as being this really like almost like preternaturally beautiful person. Um, the only thing that tips you off to the fact that she might not be human is the two pointy fangs coming out of her front lip and the small impish horns coming up under the top of her hood. She almost bumps into you on the way out the door and she says, "Oh, excuse me." She turns to walk past you.
Maggie says, "I wonder if you are the one we came looking for. Are you looking for your daughter?"
She turns and says, "What do you know of that?" And she turns hotly on you when you say her daughter. She's like
I mildly
nose to
say quite a
nose.
bit, actually.
Maggie says, "We've been asked to rescue a girl."
We believe it's her, but we want to make sure she comes with us without fighting us. Is there some? If we rescue her, is there something we can say to her?
She looks at you all for a moment. She shakes her head almost in disbelief, and she says, "I can't believe these are the cutters that he hired."
I glow with power and say, "Do not take us lightly."
I'm afraid it'll take more than just parlor tricks, dear, to impress me. I've seen the Nine Hells, bathed in the sulphur springs. Seen much worse than you lot. She does not seem particularly startled by your display of power. Whether that's ignorance or self-assuredness, you can't quite tell. Um, she says, well, since everyone seems to know my business these days, yes, if there's something that you can, there is something that you can give my daughter. It should do the trick. And she pulls out a small, worn teddy bear from under her cloak. It's only like 3 or 4 inches tall, and it's just a rag, basically. It's like beat to shit. Um, Give her this. Tell her that her mother wants her to come home. If you
And
do
what is your
this,
name?
my name is Carolyn.
Carolyn, does your daughter speak common or infernal?
If I had to guess, her father's probably raised her with this odd human tongue that you folks use. But if you talk to her in infernal, she should understand you.
And Maggie says you're working with Mingle on this, and you're in line with his mission.
Hmm. Let's say that our motives overlap a bit. I want my daughter. He wants his freedom.
Understood. We'll get her back.
She looks at you and just nods gravely. She says, I must be going. Goodbye. Just begins to walk, and in a similar fashion to Turia, blips away. Like she's like 6 steps away and just kind of vanishes, puff of smoke sort of thing.
Do I feel any pangs of sorrow from identifying with my own situation with my estranged mother and everything?
I would say, yeah. I mean, if you think you do, then you do. That's your character choice. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, I absolutely encourage that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if Anita is feeling something, then feel it.
I feel like she's starting to feel like a personal obligation to you know resolve this situation because of this unresolved thing of her own.
Right?
Roll me a sorrow check.
Yeah, right. And Arion.
Aaron also kind of feels for the child and leans toward and doesn't think much of the father because of her own situation growing up.
All right, we're all riled up. Let's go save this kid.
All right. So since you are already back at the Black Sail, Inamingle actually steps out, and as you guys are getting ready to depart, he says, "Well, I see Zagara didn't eat you. That's good. So you have a plan then?
We do.
Excellent.
Why don't we keep our plan to ourselves until we implement it?
Oh yes, yes. Need to know basis. I like that. See, you cutters are learning quick.
You gotta keep OPSEC.
All right. So as night.
I guess any like last guidance on like you told us to avoid violence in the tower. How do you expect us to do this?
Well, Zaraga said she could provide some cover to you. Did she give you anything?
Yeah, we've got something.
Excellent. Well then. First off, I'd use that. Second, I pay you to come up with the plans. What the hell are we talking about this for still? Just go get the damn child.
We're getting paid for this? All right.
Well, I mean, as far as he's concerned, he's paying you with offering you a way home, or a possible way home. As he told you in the beginning, he has several keys to many of the portals throughout this city. he has been entrusted with over the years of his servitude.
Yeah, I think having this child's probably going to be good leverage. So let's go.
Let's go get that leverage.
All right. Scanning up, scanning up. All right, so night comes. You are escorted by the gargoyles to the top of this tower. So how many gargoyles do you want to bring with you? There are literally like 200 gargoyles. She's willing to part with like 100 of them if it means that she gets her freedom from this realm.
Well, it sounds like we want to slip in as unnoticed as possible. So if anything, like gargoyles might be distracting them down on the ground or something while we're up in the air.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They could like fly around, create diversions and stuff, and then between us being invisible and that being a distraction, I think should be pretty good cover.
All right.
Sounds
So I don't
fair to
know.
me.
Grab
My-
100 of them, I guess.
Yeah,
They can
just
swarm
have them
around
just
and stuff.
And then
Okay.
do we have?
Tell-
Oh,
you have them not attack, just kind of swoop around and make people maybe have them like kind of feel like they have to duck for cover.
All right.
Like the monkey things in Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what this is like then. Yeah.
probably not even look like it's focused on the tower. Like it might be just like a swarm of them going by, and they won't notice that 4 of them have like paused to let us off, basically.
And honestly, part of the gargoyles' duties to the city is that they basically they function as like a rent-a-gargoyle service to various buildings, scaring away what would be, any sort of things that would be able to enter them if they didn't have protective gargoyles on them.
Nice.
So they are not super uncommon in the city. Like you've seen other buildings that have these gargoyles crawling on them, and they are essentially kind of considered like a rent-a-cop service for various buildings, performing
relate.
different feats of security guarding and such not. So Zaraga sends you out with 100 of these things, screaming out, "Fly, my pretties, fly!" And
Very cool.
and you go flapping across, and it is what time of night are you guys leaving? Are you leaving like right at dusk, or like are you gonna
I'm
wait for
thinking that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, dusk.
Yeah, so by the time that you get there, it will be dark. So people are just seeing
Yeah.
these gargoyles flying out. And this isn't uncommon for this time of night either. You've definitely seen
And
some gargoyles going back and forth in dawn and dusk.
we have till sun up, so I think we should just become invisible now, and we'll,
Yeah.
I
can't
agree.
be seen at any point.
Yep.
And does the scroll include anything you have? If like I'm on my broom when I use the scroll, will my broom be invisible too, or do I need to?
No, if you're
Not
on your
use
broom,
my-
we'll say that your broom is also invisible.
All
We'll
right,
say it
so
can
yeah,
be
I
concealed.
activate my scroll while on my broom.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like if you get off the broom, it'll probably lose its invisibility, if anything. So yeah, you guys are able to activate these spells, no problem. And as soon as you read the spell, you immediately turn invisible. It's just a very basic spell scroll.
Do we have an invisibility potion? Like if we can give the child an invisibility potion or scroll or whatever, she could just fly.
I think I have some invisibility potions. I'm fairly certain I do actually.
So she could just
I
fly.
have one too. I had one that you gave me, which I drank, and then I had one that I bought from Zoblov's.
Sweet. So that's an option if we need it.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. So let's see, and just as a brief overview, I'll show you guys where you flew to and from. Let's find your little red dot here. Put a little red dot on this one. I thought I did.
Is Zach's screen flashing for anybody else, or is that just me?
It's not flashing for me.
Nope.
Weird.
Okay,
Yeah.
just me.
All right, so yeah, you had flown into the ladies' ward to find the Screaming Tower, which I think was just over here somewhere. And you've now had to go to a different section of the ladies' ward. I don't remember where. But you had flown all the way over to the Hive, which the Hive would be on the opposite side of the circle, kind of. So it's over here. You can even tell it's labeled on the map Chaos District. So it's where all like the ne'er-do-wells like to hang out. Some of the different spots you would have seen as you flew over the top of the city. Goatswood, the Ditch is a large canyon that runs partway through the city, giving you an idea of some of the depth that actually exists beneath the surface. As all the way along the sides of this, there are ramshackle houses built along the cliffside that seem to go into caves. Very like Pueblo Indian style, I think it is. There's Pueblo. The ones that lived in the caves. Aztecs, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a big
Sure.
history buff.
Cavemen.
Yeah, cavemen, exactly.
I have no idea.
Whatever happened to the Geico caveman? Is he still around?
I think it was offensive to Southern people.
So let's see. Yeah, as you guys back up to Dirkale's tower, you are brought near to this, and 4 of the gargoyles carrying you swoop off. Well, 3 in Arianthe on a broom, I'm assuming. But we'll say that.
Assume one kind of flies with us
Yeah,
just to cover.
you need somebody to carry the kid too, so you bring 4. Um, so they fly down with you and they perch on the tops of some of the walls and begin harassing the guards on the base level, calling out insults to them and things. And the guards sort of seem to almost pay this no mind, leaving the 4 of you standing partway atop the tower on the highest floor. And since apparently my PDF is goofy and doesn't have my map, I have to try and do this by numbers only. So we're going to see what order stuff happens in. Scrolling to the end of the module. Okay, so you guys are on this outside ledge. There's just enough room for, we'll say, 3 of you to be hanging on. Maggie's probably got 1 foot on Arianthe's broom and is like hanging onto the ledge while Toan and Venetia are on the ledge. So if you want to try to bend these bars to open them, just make me a strength check. DC is 25.
Okay.
And essentially, I'll let you guys do it so that you're assisting each other. So either one of you can
Damn
roll with
it.
advantage, or
My hand slipped off the bar. I rolled a 1.
all right. Make me a dexterity save.
I got a natural 20 for a 30.
I rolled a 7.
Okay. So
I quickly swoop over and try to balance Venetia.
Can we see each other?
no, absolutely not.
Can I say I hear her stumbling?
We will say that you have a general idea of where she is. So here's how I'll play this out. Tohan, you grab these bars and you like basically just rip them off the window, but when you do so, Venetia is not expecting it, and so she sort of like falls over backwards, and lets out like a noise like, oh shit. Arianthe, hearing the oh shit, goes to try to catch Venetia. Maggie, make me a dexterity save to see if when Arianthe moves, you slip for any reason.
Oh boy, dexterity. That's my favorite.
Shit.
Or if you can keep your foot on the broom. Arianthe, make
That's
me...
That's a natty 1 for a grand total of 2.
Okay,
Mhm.
so as
Dice are telling
Arianth
stories tonight.
moves, as Arianth moves, you immediately begin plummeting. And keep in mind
I
you're about 100
automatically
feet
call.
up.
I immediately cast Featherfall, so
Okay.
she slows down. I steady Vanadium, and then I yell to Maggie to make a quiet noise so I can catch her. Or I meant actually I use my mental Reggie thing to tell her to make some sort of animal noise so I know where to catch her.
Okay.
All right.
So
makes
first make a
Move.
perception check for me, Arianth. Perception, it's 15, but at disadvantage to try to catch Venadia. I'll allow the feather fall as a reaction because it's a reaction spell.
Wait, am I falling? Or I thought Maggie's falling.
Well, you were also starting to fall because you missed your dex save on the window, so you started to
Hmm.
slip and fall. She went to catch you, and as she went to catch you, now she's made Maggie slip off the
Oh,
broom
I
where
get
she
it.
was sitting.
Right.
Sort of a comedy of errors going on right now, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I live to
Alright.
DM for.
So that's a 10.
All right. So as you go to catch Venadia, you feel like Vanadia's arm and ribs probably bounce off the broom, and she begins to slide down the other end of your broom from where you're sitting on it. Uh, you are able to cast Featherfall on Maggie if you want, because I believe it is on multiple creatures, right?
It's just
Yeah.
a reaction.
Yeah, but you can cast it on multiple
Yeah,
targets,
you can
right?
cast it
Yes,
on.
yes,
Okay,
yes, I
so
can.
since
Yeah.
this is all happening at the same time, I will allow the feather fall after Venadia, after you know that Venadia has begun to fall as well. So you're just
So
like
it's
kind
on.
of like you just blast out feather fall at everybody. So
Yeah.
now Tohan, you're like, even though you just pulled this thing off, I'm not even gonna make you make the saving throw for falling. So now you're all just kind of floating in midair, very slowly starting to slide down.
If we how far would I have fallen before she cast that?
Not even 5 feet away from the window. Like you're just kind of
So
like
I would have started to like use my strength to try to grab like a chunk of the wall or something, like something I could
yes,
grab
yeah,
and like
absolutely.
hold on to it. So
Um,
I don't know where I'd be, but I'd start to try to kind of pull myself back up.
yeah, like basically you were already trying to twist your way around, so you're floating in midair. Um, you guys would
All
be
right. So then I'm going after Maggie as she's
Yeah.
floating
yeah.
down.
Maggie's only like maybe
I'm
10
like,
feet down.
sorry everybody, and like brushing myself off and ask if you can go pick up our
Yeah.
sweet grandma.
I mentally tell her to make some sort of animal noise so I can find her and swoop her up and bring her back to the ledge.
Yeah.
Maggie's considering like a squirrel.
So you guys you're able to scoop up Maggie fairly easily and hoist her back up to the window ledge. Tohan, you're still holding on to one edge of the window ledge and holding the window in your hand. Um, kind of watching everybody else probably with a smile on your face, like they fell.
Well, I was thinking more like everyone's invisible, and I'm just trying to
Right.
talk to people who aren't there.
Yeah.
All right, guys,
All right.
are we ready to
Tohan's
go
like,
in?
okay, so just can we get like who is here and who's not?
Oh, it's like
Oh,
a
the
full
silent treatment.
it's a full blown William Wallace speech to no one. So you look
God, that
inside.
spell comes in handy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Featherfall is like a must-have.
Oh, yeah.
So you step inside the window and you see that this L-shaped room has but a single furnishing: a 5 foot high wrought iron tripod shaped like a fiend's talon. Nestled comfortably in the talon's clutches is a 6-inch diameter silver globe.
Are we all in the room now?
Yeah,
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 right.
you guys
We
are
all
all standing
popped
inside
into the window.
What took you guys so long?
6-inch metal globe, you said?
Yep.
Take a
I
look.
Yeah,
asked
silver.
Reggie if he knows if he notices anything about it that we should know, if it's magical or anything.
He lets you know that the sphere is radiating a powerful aura of antipathy, which seems to surround the entire tower.
Oh.
You, however, do not seem to be affected, as it is directed only towards chaotic evil creatures.
Hmm. What is you said antipathy?
Yeah, like sort of. I'm trying to think what an aura of antipathy would entail. Because that's literally I'm reading this out of the script. Um, like I think it means like essentially if you go into the tower as a chaotic evil creature, you lose all desires that you had previous to going into it. Like if you
Hmm.
were like, I'm gonna burn this place to the ground, I don't have the energy, you know.
So the gargoyle that approach the tower are like, fuck this place, I'm out.
As far as you know, they're still down in the courtyard.
Oh, okay. Word.
So let's, I guess, make our way to the kid.
Yeah, so I
Quietly.
mean, any indication of where we could go from here, or doorways and hallways and things?
Do we
Yes.
know where we're going to get to where she is?
No, you don't actually know. You
Got it.
sort of have an idea. Like there was sort of a brief outline from Zaraga where things would be, but you're not 100% sure. There is a doorway with a stairwell leading down, but that seems to be the only other feature of this room other than this giant claw with the big silver sphere in it.
Did when that lady was showing us the girl, did we get any kind of perception of where in the building her room is? Like it was in the middle of the building.
Uh, you got the indication that all of like the bed chambers and private chambers were kind of towards the top of the tower. Um, but some of the areas on the map were not like drawn super accurately, so you're not super sure. Like you think that
Hmm.
probably on the second level, which there seems to be like three fairly large levels of this tower.
All right, let's try being quiet and sneaking through here.
Maggie's wondering. I mean, I'm wondering if Maggie should cast sending and try to have the girl meet us somewhere. Like now that they've got the info from her mom, I wonder it would be easier for her to find us, probably.
It'd be easier to
Or at
believe us
least,
when we show her the bear.
Yeah.
or or at least like give us an idea of how to find her.
Well, so I mean, if Maggie says like, um, says her name, your mother sent us, with
With your bear.
yeah, with the with the bear and
Maybe give a brief, like some kind of something about the bear that the girl would recognize.
mhm. And like uh I don't know if there's somewhere that meet us on the top floor or something, or where or like how can we get to you from the top floor?
Yeah. How can we get to you from the top floor would be good, or yeah, as far as a first sending, yeah.
And then she'll be able to.
I want to be the one to hand her the bear because I just feel like the tiefling
Yeah,
resemblance will just make her like a little bit more at ease or something, just like some
she,
familiarity.
she won't be able to see you, but if you speak Infernal, she'll know.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I didn't know if like I guess we'll probably we're gonna stay invisible.
Yeah,
So yeah.
at least.
You
Possibly
guys are
give
still
her an
very
invisibility potion.
Oh yeah, because we have extra ones. Awesome, right? Cool.
All right,
All
so
right.
I guess Maggie will cast that sending spell then.
Okay.
Cool.
So unlike most times when you cast a sending spell, this time you are answered almost immediately, and she says, "Oh, hello there. Who are you? Are you a new person my daddy sent to play with me?"
Oh boy.
"What do you mean, my mother? My mother's dead."
Oh boy. Daddy lied quite a bit to the child.
Oh no.
All right.
Say to her, Daddy sent us to bring you to him.
Well, yeah, I'm worried that I don't want her to. The main thing is she needs to not tell anyone that we're here.
Daddy sent us to play a secret game to bring you to him, but you can't
Yeah.
tell anyone.
Sounds totally creepy.
Yeah, that's creepy.
I
Also,
don't
we have
fucking know.
candy.
Yeah.
Let
That
me.
seems
Get in
exactly what a
Also,
kidnapper
Yeah,
would say.
I have to
Step into the
roll.
white van.
I have to roll to see if she goes full stranger danger mode on you, or if she's a little more naive than that. I'm not sure.
Well, all right. Let's try
Well,
to think
Maggie
of
hasn't
a
said it
better
yet,
way to.
so
Yeah. Let's try to figure out a way to word this.
what
The
exactly
child
were
will.
the words that her mom said to say to her?
Mother wants you to come home.
Yeah, but she
Um,
thinks her mother's dead, which her mother probably didn't know her father told the child.
Yeah, I think we can probably prove to her by showing her the bear that the mother's not dead. But
Yeah,
as
but
far,
maybe we should just handle that when we get
right,
there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
We can present the bear,
exactly.
and I don't know. Maybe we should just tell her. Um, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. We have a gift for you. Would you like it? Or something like
Or
that. I don't know.
yeah, she can only cast
Yeah.
so many. So I'm thinking like, yeah, like, we're here to play the game, or
We're here to play hide and seek,
right.
but
um,
but we need. But first, we need to get to you first, so we can hide from the people in the tower.
So, as you guys are discussing how to say this to her, on your party line with Reggie, which I'm assuming you're using, you hear
Mhm.
this voice come through, and she says, "You are a strange group of adults. Adults talk a lot, but you talk more than most. Even Emilicia and Tagon." And then, as soon as these words are uttered, a dimension door opens in the room where you guys are standing, and she
Oh
steps
shit!
through. And she
Amazing.
says, "So, you want to play hide and seek? Wait, is this like a prank?" And she sort of smiles.
Wait, she's like, no, no. I go, no, 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 no. Wait, wait, wait. We don't want to play hide and seek with you. We want to bring. We wanted to. We want. We're trying to figure out how to explain to you. We want to secretly bring you to your dad. He
Maggie
wants us.
Maggie tries to like cut her off and like grab the bear.
Right. No, I have the bear, and I'm gonna hand it to her. I can say in Infernal what was it? Mother wants you to come home.
Yep. Okay, so you say that in Infernal. Let me see. All right, when you say it, Umbra's eyes gloss over, and she goes like full Manchurian candidate and just freezes.
Um,
Whoa.
I think we should just scoop her up and fly her out of here then.
She's like physically paralyzed now.
Yeah, she's standing just stark-eyed. She's like, there's nothing there.
Uh,
All right, let's
Maggie,
get
Grab
her
and
out
go.
of here and deal with this later.
yeah,
Yeah, let's bring her. Maybe Mom knows what to do from this point.
but Maggie's worried too that she's gonna like scream, or that that she's been like brainwashed in some way. Um,
Well, that's what I'm thinking. If she's catatonic, this could be the time to like
Yeah,
grab
let's
her,
just
and
get her out now and deal with her catatonic aspect
we're
as
still
when
right
we're
next to
not
the
in.
window, basically, right?
Yeah, you guys are pretty much standing 15, 20 feet, or not even 15 feet in from the
All
window.
right. I scoop her up and hop on the broom, and I say, "Let's get out of here." Hop on the back of the broom with Aerith.
Yep.
so are there gargoyles around us now, or is this gonna have to be like a one by one kind of
I mean,
operation?
the gargoyles are
Well,
still down at the
well, we had
courtyard.
4 that came with us.
I guess Maggie will like give a little whistle and try to grab. I don't know. Well, maybe it's a bad
Yeah, I mean,
idea.
you guys could have prearranged a signal with the gargoyles. They're not
Yeah.
like unintelligent creatures. They're not very nice. They were like, "That's a stupid fucking signal. Whistle? Oh God, yeah, all right, fine."
So they come swoop back up, I guess, and we're just counting on the cover of night to keep the kid hidden.
Mhm.
Should we take this
Should
sweet
we
orb
pour?
with us?
Maybe.
Well,
Take the
can
orb,
we?
you said?
I'm wearing a cloak. Can
I
I?
don't think.
Do you want me to just hold her on my broom and cover her with my cloak?
That sounds good.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. As long as she's secure.
I take some rope, tie her to me and the broom, and enclose her in my cloak so that she's
Er,
covered by my invisibility spell.
yeah, I was just gonna say. Oh, I was gonna say we could do that, or we could just like give her some. Can we just pour a little invisibility potion in her mouth or something?
Why waste a potion?
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, it sounds like we're gonna be able to get out of here quick. I'm more concerned about her like having some like her leaving the building triggering something. So I think just getting out quick is probably the way to go.
So let's bounce, get out of there, and once we're safe, we're secure away from anybody discovering us. Deal with her.
Yeah.
And while we're quietly filing away, I'm mentally asking Reggie what he thinks is going on with the girl.
Alright. So you guys, once you get this girl tied up, um, you ask Reggie, and he begins to explain to you that he's fairly certain that uh, that Umbra is not a tiefling in the traditional sense, but she is what they sometimes refer to as an alu fiend, and that an alu fiend, as far as his research can show, is one of the predecessors of tieflings on all other worlds. So this is like sort of like Neanderthal man versus
Homo sapien.
Homo sapiens or whatever. Like
Mhm.
it's like a predecessor sort of thing.
Homo
Um,
erectus.
yeah. So never been able to say that without laughing. Um, so in these alufiends, it is often found that the demonic traits, the inherent magics and such, are much stronger than with what tieflings would have. Like tieflings have a bit of it with like hellish rebuke and things like that. Alufiends are a little more potent and a little more directly tied to the weave of magic. Um, and as you've been told by Inamingle, there's a certain group called the Zactars that are looking for this girl. At least that's what he told you, and that the Zactars are interested in her well-being and preserving her as this agent of prophecy. So it seems like all of you have some reason to kind of, empathize with this girl.
Mhm.
Uh, and as Reggie is explaining this situation to you, you begin to hear footsteps coming up the stairs. Just as you are ready to take off out the window, you see a man with a white beard and a redhead woman come bursting into the room, screaming out, "Umbra, where have you gone now?" And as soon as they see you, their eyes go wide.
Well,
And
they can't see us. We're invisible.
I'm sorry, as soon as they see the four gargoyles hovering in the window with Umbra disappearing under a cloak, um, their eyes go wide and they begin firing off spells in your general direction, um, giving you enough time to escape, but a possible spell shot coming at you. So
Is it? I have a spell that where is it? Sorry, I just picked it up. Uh, bear with me a second.
all good.
I have a spell called Counter Spell.
Yeah,
That
absolutely. Um, so this guy levels his staff and begins to cast a magic missile at you, and you are in fact able to counter spell it, and his staff just kind of makes like a foomph noise. He sort of is affected by it. Just remember to burn your spell slot. That's all. Um, so you guys are able to pretty effectively escape out of the window with this catatonic child, uh, kind of being hoisted aloft by these remaining gargoyles. Although now
well,
the
she's on my broom with me
she's
right
on
now
your
under my
broom.
cloak.
Yep. So they would see these four gargoyles, and the castle guards would begin shooting at the four gargoyles, assuming that the gargoyles had something to do with it, as the alarm is being raised across the castle, and they've already been being aggravated by these gargoyles downstairs.
How
Uh,
many of these guards are there?
what's that?
How many of these guards are there?
There is you see probably like 60 or 70 guards throughout the various areas in the courtyards. However, the four sections of guards that concern you, or three sections of guards, as one of them is kind of out of line of sight of you, is the three corner mounted ballistae at the outside edges of the parapets. Um,
Can I try to use my plant ability to make the razor wire mess with the with the guards trying to shoot arrows?
Yeah, I would say that you could actively probably give them disadvantage, if the Razor Vine doesn't fail its saving throw. Let's see. Your spell ability modifier. Well, let's see. They rolled a 13 on their saving throw. Uh,
My spell save is 16.
Okay, so it fails its saving throw. So the razor vine begins growing up rapidly around from the edge of the wall where it is, kind of very ivy-like. And it begins growing in front of the ballista, giving them disadvantage on all their rolls. Let's see.
If Maggie's within 60 feet of any of them, she can cast command too.
All right. I am going to assume, since I didn't roll anything over an 11, that nobody got hit.
Okay.
Six rolls, nothing over an 11. And that was with disadvantage on all of them. I'm like, oh, that one didn't hit. Oh, that one probably didn't hit. That one did. Jesus Christ. All right. So
I'm sorry, we're not in any kind of, we're not in initiative right now, right?
no, this is just all kind of happening theatrically. I'm just checking to see if certain things happen.
Can I cast darkness around the gargoyles so that they can't see the gargoyles anymore?
Yeah, absolutely. So like as these ballistas start flying, you just drop darkness around everybody and you blend right in with the sky at this point. All right, so you have the child. Now where are you going?
Gotta go find mom.
I think the job is to take her back to the tavern.
While we're doing this, can I do some can I do an arcana check and try to figure out why the girl is catatonic?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and roll me the Arcana check. Tell you what you know.
26.
Okay. You think that she has been placed under some form of a charm spell. This is a modified charm spell that creates sort of a like an inner paradise for this person. So you can kind of detect that she doesn't seem unhappy or anything. She just seems like she's off in La La Land.
So basically, her mom gave us that spell to in order to keep her.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
Oh, is that what it is? It's not a spell that the father cast?
No,
Or the
it's
It has something to do with the teddy bear, I think, and saying that or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as soon as she
basically
took
the
that teddy
mother.
bear, yep. There may have been some sort of a curse or a charm or something on the bear itself that she give to her, and then that must have been the code words to activate it.
cool.
In with what I was figuring out, do I know how to deactivate it, or is it only the mother that can deactivate it?
I feel like we should leave her
I'm
charmed
not
until
saying I
we.
want to. I just
Yeah.
want to know if I can.
Yeah, you think that probably just a typical dispel magic would do the trick.
Yeah, and greater restoration also, or
Yeah, any sort of a common. So this is a fairly. It's not like a super high level spell. It's it only had to maintain the
Okay,
mind of a
gotcha.
like.
I just
10-year-old.
wanted to make sure that we can break it if need be. Cool.
So beneath you, as you're flying away, you do hear these alarms going off from Durkale's stronghold, and the guards and the soldiers for the harmonium are now being roused as Durkale's stronghold seems to function sort of like a small barracks uh outside of the main area where the harmonium are stationed in the barracks district. Um, Sort of like a little like a trooper's barracks, something to that effect. So you guys are headed back to the Black Sail Inn, correct?
I think so, but maybe kind of keep an eye on what's going on and make sure it's safe to land before landing.
Yeah, make sure we're not being
Yeah, I
followed in
mean-
any way. Well, obviously we can't be because we're invisible in the dark. I don't sense any kind of magic finding us or anything, right?
No, if you just do a basic like detect magic, you would not come up with anything other than Umbra herself being like if you think about kind of trying to detect stuff as magic having like an aura about it, her aura is extremely bright. Like she pretty much just radiates magic. I think at some point during this campaign, you've also kind of experienced the same thing with the twins, where you noticed they were like they had that extra tie-in to the weave of magic somehow.
I guess Maggie. So Maggie's got this amulet of protection against detection and scrying, and I guess she'll put if she can like put that on the child, she'll do that.
Mm.
Good call.
Like get the gargoyle to fly close enough or something.
Mm-hmm.
Hand it off to Arianth so that Arianth can put it on her.
Okay.
Which I do.
Mhm. All right, so I'm skimming something else here real quick. Um, you get back to the Black Sail without much ado, as you are under cover of both dark and invisibility. So all told, this only took you a few hours to actually like accomplish. It was literally like a snatch and grab. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, sorry, I have to figure out what happens when you guys go back to the Black Sail.
And they didn't even see us, so it's a perfect crime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you get back to the Black Sail, um, Inamingle is nowhere to be found, nor is Turia. Uh, However, Carolyn is there.
Good.
Uh,
That's what I was hoping we'd find.
as she happens to be talking to a rather large human, garbed out in kind of exotic cloaks. Looks like animal pelts, armor. He's like very adventure type guy, you know, like this picture Conan the Barbarian with more armor and clothes and shit. Wearing some Jason the Argonaut stuff. Um, and she's referring to him as Soric. Uh, she currently looks a little bit different as she has apparently the ability to disguise her horns and fangs. So she is in sort of human form, but she looks much the same as she did when she was in her demon form that you saw. Uh, as you all come in, are you guys going to let the invisibility down as you enter? Are you just kind of sneaking into this place?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think right.
Well, we
Um,
could just kind of walk in and assess the situation and see what they're saying first.
yeah, I think let's stay invisible. Maybe one of us can go in and turn visible. I don't know. Maybe Maggie or Venadia would probably be the best two to do that.
Well, but I was saying, but like before we have anybody go invisible, let's hear what they're saying to each other first.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
All right. So she is kind of waiting impatiently at the bar, and she keeps looking at the door, and she's sort of talking to this man in hushed tones, but saying something like, "Of course, when it's all over, of course we'll all go live together, and it'll be fine." And the guy sort of has this vacant look on his face, but he's looking at her, and he's like, "Yeah, that sounds nice." And she says, "Well, buy us another drink." And he says, "Barkeep, two more."
This dude is charmed.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, it's a pretty obvious that this guy she's having some sort of an effect on him like that. So did you guys say you're still invisible at first when you go in, or did you say you drop it?
Hmm.
Okay.
We can drop it now, I guess. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't anything nefarious going on.
No, and the place is pretty sparsely populated right now. There's maybe like one drunk passed out by the fire, and like the innkeeper is just sort of polishing glassware and standing behind the bar. He looks like Danny Trejo.
I think so. Maggie will suggest that they go back outside and turn invisible and then come in, so they're not tipping anybody off to their methods.
Indeed. Agreed.
And as the door swings open and closed for the second time, the bartender looks up and goes, "Damned ghosts." So you come back in, not invisible this time, kind of ushering in this child, and Carolyn looks up and smiles and let's see. Maggie, roll me a perception check.
Okay. Perception. 22 altogether.
Okay. Something does not feel right about this to you. As a mother, and as one who constantly strives to uphold that ideal of being motherly, you immediately can tell that somewheres along the lines you've made a mistake dealing with this woman, because the smile that she gives is not one of motherly love or of being excited to have her child back, and she rushes towards you.
Maggie immediately conveys that to everyone and says, "Get the girl out."
Yeah,
I step between her and the girl and grab for the hilt of my sword.
Okay.
I quickly I lift up. I quickly bring my broom back out of the building outside.
I became visible when I did that.
Yeah.
Well, we were already
Oh no,
visible
we
at
just
that
did
point.
that. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
So, as you do this, she says, "What? I thought you fools wanted to rescue my daughter. What is this? Some sort of a bid for more money? Fine. What do you want?"
Maggie says, "We need to know the full truth about the situation."
The bartender looks up and he just says, "Zone of truth." Like he's just irritated that this shit's happening in his bar. And so
Every bartender needs
the
that
like
spell.
yeah the seventh
like IRL.
yeah, it's just settles bar bets immediately, which is why he has it.
Yeah.
And she says, "Oh, fine. What does it matter? It doesn't matter to me. Just give me my child. I want her. I want her. I'll bring her back to my plane. Bring her back to the fiends."
What is your intent here? Is this your daughter?
"Of course it's my daughter. I'll do like I've done with all of my daughters and hand her over to Calfazor because he enjoys toying with them before he rips them apart. Now give her to me!"
I draw my sword and I say, "That's not going to happen today."
All right. She looks over at her human consort Sorik and she says, "Sorik, these fools wish to take your daughter from you." And he looks and he says, "Oh, that won't do." And he just absentmindedly draws his sword and begins moving towards you. So everybody roll initiative. We'll get at least one combat in before it's the end of the night. Boy, when they said Planescape, it's roleplay heavy. They weren't kidding.
18.
6.
That's 22 for me.
7.
I got 18, 6, 22, and 7. Not gonna remember everybody's name. Wait,
Did I have any time for like a little bonus action or anything there? Like a hunter's mark or anything?
I would say probably not. But you could definitely do it.
Even though like I drew the sword and I'm like, "Hey, we're doing this shit" or whatever.
Yeah, I would say it was kind of all happening all at once. Like you had enough time to draw the sword without it being like a bonus action or anything like that. I guess it's a free action anyway. Shit, I lost the initiative order. All right, 18. Who had an 18?
Maggie.
Maggie. Okay. Who had the 6?
Me.
All right. There you go.
And I'm going to position myself within, like, in the doorway so that I can see and like cast spells, but I'm gonna keep as far as away from everyone and keep the girl safe at the same time,
Okay.
and if possible have Reggie keep an eye out for me, what to see if anybody tries to sneak up on me while I'm trying to focus on what's going on inside.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So Reggie would be able to give you the benefits of essentially a detect evil spell. So he could give you like the location of stuff around you, but other than that, like it doesn't really register anything other than the succubus. Even the guy doesn't register as evil. Like he's just some schmuck, some Burke, as they would say. Um,
I was just thinking more along the lines of people looking for the girl who might come across me
hmm.
and like sneak up on me. I just don't want anything to interrupt me while I'm trying to focus on what's going on inside and keeping the
Gotcha.
girl safe.
All right, so she rolled low, so you guys are in luck. She actually only got a 5. I should have just changed this name to Karen. It's totally she is a Karen character. We'll just call her Karen from now on, but it's with a Y, which is even worse.
And two N.
Yeah, 2 N's exactly.
Run away.
Oh God, it's the Mecha Karen. It's the next kaiju you
fuck
guys
outta
have to
here.
fight.
Release the Karen.
Yeah, the cracker in.
Yeah.
There's like a comedy D&D like YouTube thing called Man Pants, and they did one where they fought a Karen. It was pretty
That's
hilarious.
amazing.
Dungeon Crawler Carl actually, one of the chapters was devoted to this like train station where the levels were actually called Crack Karens, like spelled like Kraken and Karen combined.
Nice.
And that was the level boss. Um, and at this point, Karen is going to transform into her true form, which is that of a lesser Tenari, in the form of a succubus, which I probably can't show you on YouTube because I think if I look up succubus, it's going to come up with some shit that I probably can't show you on YouTube. So, and I don't want
Turn
to
the
run.
safe search on first, and
Yeah,
then
I
you
don't.
know.
Even so, I don't know.
Does
Yeah,
the Eye of
honestly, I
Argos
don't. Yeah, the Eye of Argos puts up censored bars. Like it literally just says censored.
Does it give us any stats on her?
It tells you that succubi are creatures of exceptional intelligence of a chaotic evil alignment. Um, she has an armor class of 20. She has a movement of 60 feet, a flying movement of 90 feet. Um,
Oh shit.
she's a 6 hit dice character. You can equate that to like level 6, basically, as a character. Um, and since I'm fudging from 2nd edition to 5th edition, she has 330 hit points, a +5 to her attacks, and has 2 attacks per round, each dealing. How would that scale? Each dealing, we'll say 1d8, with an energy drain effect, and she also has a special ability to charm people. She is immune to fire and immune to non-magical weapons. She is also never surprised, which is why you are not allowed to take a surprise round on her.
Nice.
I don't remember what these other stats are. She's size medium. Man, 20 years is a long time to try to remember how to read a 2nd edition stat block. And she is worth a fucking ass load of experience if you kill her.
You just read the 2nd edition ones, be like, we came a long way, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's literally just a bunch of numbers and letters all crammed into a fucking block. It's brutal. I remember most of it, but and then I have to try to like equate it to what it would actually be
Yeah.
in 5th edition too. Like armor class, she actually has an armor class of 0, which isn't as complicated as you'd think. Like I just said it so that because armor class 0, a 2-hit armor class 0 of 20 would mean you had to roll a 20 in order to hit a 0, which is what everybody starts with, which means her armor class essentially for D&D purposes for 5th edition is 20. Like you just invert it on like on a scale, on a 0 to 20 scale, because you used to be able to get negative armor class and shit.
Yeah.
Like if you were like a -3 armor class, you were hard as hell to hit. Yeah, so she busts out in this crazy anime fucking like scene that's reminiscent maybe of some American Werewolf in London mixed with like I don't know, fucking Akira. Yeah, I like that. Um, at this moment, In Mingle walks around the corner and goes, "What the fuck?" And I have to roll for Soric, although he rolls his initiative at disadvantage from being charmed because he's in fucking La La Land. Where'd my dice go? Ah, shit. Alright, he actually got a 9, so he's gonna go before you. You rolled well. Alright, so as I get it, the order is going to be, I think, Venadia, then Maggie, then...
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Then Soric. Poor Soric is gonna die. Then it's going to be Tohan, Ariance, and then Karen. My apologies to Chris Perkins if you ever watch this. I didn't mean to change your character's name, but it's so fitting and I think you'd appreciate it. But they didn't have Karens in the 90s apparently. I don't
Yeah, it's what he meant. It was, you
Yeah.
know.
We just
Yeah,
hadn't
the
gotten
original
all the
has-
way there.
Really a premonition, actually. It's a
Yeah.
prophecy. Of
Yeah.
Karen.
Yeah.
The Carolyn is the pre-Karen. That's what it is.
It's like a reverse Pokemon.
I rolled my damn d20 and it disappeared. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, so Venadia.
Can Maggie tell with the eye of Agos whether like what Animangle's deal is? Like, is he hostile towards us?
So Inamingle, let me scroll up to his stuff. He's around here someplace. I didn't think to pull all their stats out and put them in a separate file. I should have. That would have been smart.
Or I mean, basically, like, can she tell is he hostile towards us, or is he literally just like confused as
No,
fuck?
I think he literally is confused as fuck as to what's
He's
going
just
on
late
right
to the
now.
party, right?
Yeah,
And it's
like he thought he was showing up on
the
time.
fuck?
He's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's gonna take him a couple hours to make it their way through this dungeon. They got at least one more
He's got half an
session.
eclair in his hand, and he's like,
Yeah.
it falls out of his mouth.
He was busy. He was like doing the Deadpool thing where he's like, they got at least one more session
Yeah.
before I'm good. I can go get some freaking churros.
Can someone use an action or a quick action to yell to him what get him up to speed onto what's going on?
I mean, yeah,
This
you
bitch is crazy. Help us kill her.
yeah, you could use a free action for something like that.
But I guess, yeah, mostly, yeah. I'm wondering, is like, has she also betrayed him, or did he know it was up all along?
Well, he sure seems like he's confused about
Yeah.
what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And you're not really sure if he's just not sure why you guys are fighting because,
Right.
you know, shit.
That-
Yeah. It's all pretty confusing at the moment. You can definitely yell out to him like, "Yo, this
She's
bitch is no
gonna
good."
daughter, yeah,
She wants to give your daughter to an evil god.
to get eaten.
Well, this is the guy that hired you, yeah, not her father.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So he, when you guys try to relate this to him, he's sort of yelling himself. He's like, "The fuck's going on? I hire you to do a quiet job. There's harmonium all over the streets. The freaking hardheads are gonna be in here any minute. And what the hell's she doing here?" And he points at Karen.
Yeah, that's our version of a quiet job.
We did the best we could.
I thought it was very quiet. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, the job itself, you guys were super quiet.
Any
They
No
have
matter-
no
yeah.
idea we were involved.
no matter what,
All they
Harmonium
know.
was gonna respond to the girl's absence. What do you want us to do? Put a scarecrow in her bed. Do like a Ferris Bueller. tie it to the string so they open the door and she's like, "Oh, okay."
Got a magic mouth. It's like, I don't feel good, Mom. Yeah.
I mean, we can bring her back if you want.
So are we fighting? Or are we talking?
We were just, I thought we were just kind of yelling to him to get him caught up to speed on why we were about to fight a succubus.
The succubus wants to take the kid. We're gonna kill her. That's cool, right?
Says, yes, don't let her have it. She's
All
got
right.
nothing to do with the Zactars. I'll be cursed to be here forever. She just says, shut your mouth, fool. Here's a picture.